Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the venue for today's matchup between the Temple Owls and your UCF Knights. Tonight is Parents' Night here at the venue. And we're going to introduce each one of our players accompanied by parents or friends of the program here onto the floor tonight. So please give a warm welcome to all the folks who supported UCF Volleyball and our student athletes throughout the years, and especially tonight. Accompanying number 1, Jayla Hervey, please welcome Valerie Hervey. Accompanying Howard Scott, please welcome Mark and Betsy Scott. Accompanying Miranda Watkins, please welcome Mike, Paula, and Kelsey Watkins. Accompanying Jordan Pingle, please welcome Tom and Teresa Pingle. Accompanying Kia Bright, please welcome Catherine Watson. Accompanying Marissa Murata, please welcome Mr. and Mrs. Wink. Accompanying Abby Zimrock, please welcome David and Mary Zimrock. Accompanying Lachey Harper, please welcome Todd Maurer. Accompanying Taylor Gallert, please welcome Anna Marie and Leyland Gallert. Accompanying Jamie Westy, please welcome Sam Westy. Accompanying Taylor Wiggy, please welcome Susan and Wade Wiggy. Accompanying Brooke Emery, please welcome Carol Amberses and Ron Thompson, along with Caden and Donovan. Accompanying Ali Sagal, please welcome Katie Dagenet. Accompanying Farah Rajani, please welcome Teresa and Mo Rajani. Accompanying Whitney Turner, please welcome Carol and Janice Turner. And alongside Ann Richards, please welcome Bruce Richards. On behalf of all of us at UCF Volleyball, we would like to thank all the parents, friends, and everyone associated with the players who are here tonight and those who could be. Thank you so much, guys, for your support throughout not just this season, but every season here at UCF Volleyball. Once again, fans, a big round of applause for the representatives of our parents here on Parents Weekend. We thank you so much for your love and support. And now we have another special ceremony here. We've got a couple of commemorative volleyballs to pass out. First, in commemoration of reaching 1,000 career days, please welcome Jordan Eagle. And celebrating 1,000 kills for her career in a UCF uniform, please give it up for number 1, Jayla Hervey. Fans, once again, give it up for Jayla and Jordan. Reaching some remarkable milestones in their UCF career. We thank them so much. All right, fans, so hang tight. We've got about 32 minutes on the clock. We've got a little bit of a delay before we get started, so sit tight, grab yourself some concessions. And we're going to get started here with volleyball between UCF and Temple in about a half an hour. We'll keep you updated as time progresses. Again, fans, we thank you so much for your patience and cooperation. And time to go right to the charge on. The Holiday Inn Orlando East UCF area is proud to be the presenting sponsor of UCF Volleyball. Whether you're looking for media accommodations or please host for a special event, look no further than the Holiday Inn Orlando East UCF area is your full service hotel destination. And UCF would also like to recognize Nike as the official apparel sponsor of the night.
right, so we'll do the openly recorded commercial, and then that'll take us right to the coach's interview, and then we're going to come live after the UCF interview. Is that right? Right. Worst comes to worst if they, Aaron just kind of kill some time until they start. Both teams are warming up. So I was going to ask, good. Yes, correct. That's pretty accurate, yes. Yes. That's a good point. So, yeah, I could talk to Aaron about how does that affect the players and coaches, from that standpoint.
Welcome from Orlando, Florida, at the venue, home of the UCF Knights, American Conference Volleyball tonight as the Temple Owls take on the UCF Knights. Hello, everybody. I'm Eric Lopez alongside Aaron Campbell. Welcome to our coverage here on the American Digital Network. And, Aaron, we got a fantastic matchup tonight. Temple and UCF, both teams with postseason aspirations, evenly matched teams.
Yeah, and what they're really contending for tonight is that ability to get an at-large bid, because we're seeing the AAC to be one of those conferences that are becoming more dominant across the country. So there is a lot at stake tonight.
Now for the Owls, they are the best team on the road. They're undefeated this season. They're 10-0, Aaron. That's going to be one of the keys in this match.
It's unbelievable to hear a team that is that elite in the conference and then has that many road wins. Undefeated on the road. That is just a strictly gym culture mentality that Coach has for this Temple team.
Other keys to the match, of course, for Temple they got to control Kia Bright.
Yeah, and Kia Bright's been one of those offensive go-to players for the UCF team. She came back from that injury, and she's been playing lights out on offense and on defense. She's only second on the team in digs. And then for UCF, it's getting their offense going fast. They have to get the middle activated as early as possible. And then Jordan Pingle, their libero, has to lead that defense and slow down Iram Oschu from this Temple team.
You mentioned Iram Oschu. We got two of the top players in the nation when it comes to kills, and for Temple, it's Oschu really sets this Temple offense.
Yeah, I mean, she has over 1,000 kills on this season. She is one of the most phenomenal volleyball players we'll see in this conference, and she is so good on the court with both her attack, her defense, and her leadership.
And for the Knights, they'll be led by their senior Jayla Hervey, playing her last 2 matches at home, and she's been a big weapon for the Knights.
And she's always been that really big, powerful attacker. So they're going to try to push the ball to her in really good situations. When UCF has a good pass, they want her to get those really kind of mood-boosting, energizing kills. And so the passing has to be there for Jayla Hervey to really be that powerful leader tonight.
We expect a great one. It's the Owls and the Knights right here on the American Digital Network.
Access to traditional prosthetics for kids is challenging. At Limitless, my goal is really to give them a chance to chase their dreams and to instill confidence so that they can go after whatever they want.
De ver o sonho meu, do meu filho, sendo realizado. Isso não tem preço.
The labs at UCF were so instrumental. I couldn't be in a better place. This is where I call my home.
What makes a Temple owl? Meet Stella. She's wise, fierce, and she's not alone. Temple University, where owls call home. We are the cherry and white. The city is our classroom, and we lead the rush hour, making our mark on every field around the world. A world without Temple, well, that's like the sky without the North Star. Temple, never stopping.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
Welcome back here to the American Digital Network with coverage of the American Conference Volleyball. Temple Owls and the UCF Knights here from the venue in Orlando, Florida. For the Temple Owls, coming in at 19-7, they finished second last year in the American Conference, and it's been a program that's been on the rise. And the man behind the turnaround for this program stands by with Aaron Campbell and tells us the keys to this match.
Aaron Campbell here with head Temple volleyball coach Bakir Ganasaratnam. And coach, we talk about Iram Oschu. She is that just powerhouse player for you. What does having a player like that on your team add to the overall value of your team?
Yeah, Iram does a really good job for us because she's a 6 rotation player. Obviously, she's tremendous on the offense, but she does a lot for us on serve receive and on defense, and her serve is really, really consistent as well. So it really, really helps us to be having a player that's very consistent and can play all the way around.
And you guys have such a dominant road record. You're undefeated at 10-0. What do you do as a coach to create that culture in your gym?
Okay.
Well, I think we really focus on the basics when we're on the road. You know, I think it really helps that we do everything together as a team. And I think sometimes being on the road, it's even an advantage because there are less distractions. So it worked for us this year, and we hope to keep continuing that.
Well, thank you, Coach.
Okay, thank you.
What a job Coach Bakir has done here at Temple. They had 8 wins in 2011, and now they're seeking another season of 20 wins and trying to get themselves into an at-large. Standing in their way, of course, the UCF Knights, a team that's got 21 wins this season and is looking to get themselves in the postseason talk here with playoffs. And, of course, UCF head coach Todd Dagenet has helped turn around this Knights program. Aaron Campbell had a chance to catch up with Coach Dagenet earlier on today.
Aaron Campbell here with head UCF volleyball coach Todd Dagenet. And Todd, you always see about Jayla Hervey, how well she's produced on the court. And now you get Kia Bright back. She recovered from that ACL injury. What has she done to add to this offense that you have going?
Well, I think there's a lot of things, and obviously what she's done on the court has been special for us, but the thing we're most proud of is the person she's become off the court and in the classroom and as a leader, young woman that she's turned into. That's really the thing that we're most proud of with Jayla. Kia, she suffered a pretty bad ACL injury, and it was one of those that was hard. The surgery was hard. The recovery was hard. It was just really long-term, and it took a long time. She's not back yet. It's still going to be a while. And, I mean, you take somebody who's got international-level athleticism, a 40-inch vertical jump. I mean, there's not many people in the world that have that. I mean, she'd be in the top 5% of the NBA with that, you know, and you reduce her down, and all of a sudden her whole game has changed because of it. Now, she's going to be back next year because she's going to have a great spring, but she's gone out there every day. She's battled. What she's done is she's become a better defensive player. She's become a better serve receiver and somebody that we can really depend on as a backcourt player. And then, of course, produce what she can produce in the front court because she's still a pretty darn good athlete.
And the American Conference has really started to position itself as one of the better conferences in the country. So what are the chances of you guys getting an at-large bid after a win tonight?
Well, I think that, there's a strategic effort. We looked at Missouri Valley Conference and the MAC and tried to figure out how are they able to get more teams in. And unfortunately, as you look at it across the country, the Power 5 teams take up most of the bids, and then there's 3 or 4 left over that everybody else gets. And I think what we've done as a conference this year strategically went out and we've played the type of record that would build our RPI. So once we start playing each other, instead of playing a 200-ranked team, we're playing a 75-ranked team. And so as a group, we did a really nice job of going out and scheduling the type of teams that we had to schedule to build the records so we could then go out and play matches against a lot of 20-win teams versus 10-win teams. And so I think that's what we've done now. 4 teams in the top 50. I think at one point we had 8 in the top 100. So what are the chances of getting an at-large? I think we can get up to 2 or maybe even 3 extras, including the conference champion. So it all comes down to those people sitting in a room that really are making decisions. I don't know what they're going to decide. I don't know exactly what they're going to look at, but I know we've done our part to really try to position ourselves. Obviously, that makes this an important match.
Thanks, Coach.
Pleasure.
And there's Coach Dagenet. Thanks to him. There's you see the UCF team warming up here. Eric Lopez here alongside Aaron Kimmel. And Aaron, we're still getting set to start this match. We've had a delay. No line judges. Couldn't find one.
No line judges.
That's you've been around this sport a long time. Have you ever gone through anything like this?
I have never experienced not having officials for a match ever in my many years of playing the sport of volleyball. So it's a little bit of an adverse situation, but both teams have been responding to it pretty well so far, staying warm, staying loose, and probably going over that game plan over and over again, so it gives them more time to actually study what their opponent's doing.
Let's go over that, because players are used to habits and a routine, and now the routine's been kind of affected. As a player, is it a bigger challenge mentally more than really physically, right? Is this a mental challenge?
I think it's a little bit of a mental challenge, but I think what we have to keep in mind, too, is that, we saw this match between these two teams go to 5 the first time they played. Who's going to have the stamina to outlast one another going to maybe a 5th set tonight? The first set is going to really kind of dictate who's in, who's out from a mental standpoint. But as a coach, it's very challenging to try to taper your players so that you're balancing both, their mental focus and then their physical stamina in a match like this.
And this is a big match. Again, these are 2 teams that are fighting for an at-large bid, still trying to outside to win the conference regular season title. SMU currently on top at 14-2. Cincinnati's in second place. Temple 12-4. UCF 11-5. It's a big match. Can this delay, in a way, help them from a nerve standpoint, knowing what's at stake for both teams today?
I think there's just already so much at stake between these 2 teams. I think they just came in ready to go. I mean, obviously SMU is running away with the conference right now, but they're playing some tough teams this weekend. Cincinnati's up there, Temple, UCF, and then it's just a really, really tough conference. So we're seeing a lot of that, and I think that tonight, there's already so much emotion behind it because you obviously want to win against a conference opponent, but, with an at-large bid at stake, it's even more emotional.
Cincinnati won their match last night, so they are now 14-3. I misspoke there. Of course, SMU still on top at 15-2. Temple beat SMU earlier this year in Dallas. They get to host SMU on November 23rd, a match that can be watched right here on the American Digital Network, Aaron. And talking to the Temple people, they believe that, hey, we can win here on the road and make that match a winner-take-all. They like their chances. They feel they match up well with SMU.
Yeah, and, you know, SMU, again, is running away with the conference, but Temple is so dynamic. They have so many different players on their team that they can go to. They have a good defense. They have fantastic offense, and their setting choices in the quarterback position for this Temple team is what's going to really set them apart going toward the rest of the season.
All right, well, they're about to get set. They're going to do the toss-up here, the national anthem starting shortly here. As we'll take a final break, and we'll come back for some American Digital coverage of American Conference Volleyball.
Access to traditional prosthetics for kids is challenging. At Luminous, my goal is really to give them a chance to chase their dreams and to instill confidence so that they can go after whatever they want.
De ver o sonho meu, do meu filho, sendo realizado. Isso não tem preço.
The labs at UCF were so instrumental. I couldn't be in a better place. This is where I call my home.
What makes a Temple owl? Meet Stella. She's wise, fierce, and she's not alone. Temple University, where owls call home. We are the cherry and white. The city is our classroom, and we lead the rush hour, making our mark on every field around the world. A world without Temple, well, that's like the sky without the North Star. Temple, never stopping.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
Welcome back here to the venue here at the University of Central Florida campus in Orlando, Florida. Eric Lopez alongside Aaron Campbell, former All-Region player. And here we are, we're moments away. Temple getting introduced here, Aaron. And they must love traveling. 10-0 on the road, Aaron, as a player. How impressive is it for this team? Undefeated all year. They're more comfortable playing on the road than they are at home.
And I think you talked a little bit about it when you said the routine. So they've probably developed a routine on the road to help them create this mentality that there are more fierce fighters when they are away from their home gym than they are when they're at their home gym. So it's an incredible feat because you get to gyms with large crowds, their fan contingencies all up in there, you've got their band, and it's so easy to get distracted by all of that. But they've been able to maintain their focus throughout the season to really take a definitive road record.
And there, of course, you got UCF. They are very good at home themselves, 12-5 here at the venue, Aaron. And you know, this building can be very loud as any building in the conference. And I think that's what we talked about in the pregame. If UCF gets off to a fast start, that gets the crowd into the match too and really put a challenge into the opponent.
Yeah, and you know, Coach Dagenet talked a lot about how he wants to get this offense going really quick so that they don't have to fight back. Fighting back against a good team like Temple is really challenging. Even if it's 1 point, 2 point, you're constantly on the heels of your opponent. So if you score early and score first, you dictate how the match goes. You dictate the tempo of the match.
These two teams met back in Philadelphia in the middle of October. It was a classic, one of the better matches in the conference of the year. UCF jumped out to a 2-0 lead over Temple. Temple came back with a furious run, won the third and the fourth set, went back and forth in the fifth set. UCF won 15-13. The Knights were without Jayla Harvey in that match. Kia Bright stepped up, had 25 kills in the victory for the Knights. She's had a lot of success against Temple in her career. How much is that going to help Akia Bright, knowing that she's had success against this opponent throughout her career?
I think it's going to help her build her confidence, but then also knowing that she has Jayla back in the mix. You know, the load's not completely on her shoulders. She's going to be able to take a breath and maybe be a little bit more creative on the offensive side of the ball. But having Jayla Harvey back into this match is critical. Now, I'm not saying I don't think this match will go 5, because I certainly think it will, but having Jayla back in, they can really, really, really maintain the offense and keep it going, as long as they get those middles activated early as well.
Temple might not want this to go 5. They're 19-7. 5 of their 7 losses have come in 5-set matches. They're 4-5 in 5-set matches, but they've only lost 2 matches other than that. So we're ready to go here. We're happy to report line judges are here. We are here and ready for some great volleyball here tonight. Glad you can join us wherever you're tuning in tonight here on the American Digital Network. Our first of 3 broadcasts of conference of volleyball over the next week. And certainly, Aaron, while we're down to 2 weeks left in the season, being in this building for a while, it feels, I think both sides know how big this match, it feels like a postseason type match.
Yeah, it really does. And I think that just a win, you don't want to, even if there aren't at-large bids that come down to the American Athletic Conference, you want to be in control of your own destiny. And by taking wins late in the season, you're making a statement about yourself for the next year. You're putting your players in a better position to get conference recognition. But now you add in the drama of maybe somebody will get an at-large bid in this conference, makes it so much more weight to this match.
Temple will be in their dark jerseys as well as shorts. UCF in the white tops with the black shorts. We're set to go here. The Knights and the Owls here at the venue. Temple will serve first as the Owls will get ready here. Is Kyra Cordes will serve here, the junior, to open here for the Temple Owls.
And Condoritas has 1,066 assists on the season. They run a 5-1 behind her. She quarterbacks this offense to extreme efficiency.
First serve there. Knights look for the setup. It's Jayla Hervey, and he gets a point for the Knights for the open the match.
And I like that Todd started it, or Coach Dagenet started in this rotation with Jayla in the front row first. Because they're so used to seeing what Kiera Bright can do, they actually started in a different rotation to have Jayla in first to score those points early and often.
Taylor Wiki serving for UCF up 1-0 as Temple with a hit there. Nice dig. Now Hervey puts the ball back in play. A very balanced Owls offense as they attack right down the middle to even it up at 1.
And Kirsten Overton, you see why she's leading the conference in attacks. She's so explosive and so dynamic off the floor, and her elbow-wrist connection, she contacts that ball really quickly, and so the block isn't even able to close against that 363 percentage hitter.
1-all here. Serve there is now Temple. Very balanced attack. As that's off the net and goes out of bounds 2-1. But really, Temple, they like to balance it out. There's not that one player that stands out. They have a good balance on offense.
Yeah, and I think that's why Condoritas has so many assists on the season. She's so good at figuring out where the defense has tendencies to go and cheat block or read well in the middle back or the right back of the court. So she's a really, really good seeing setter.
Raji with the serve. Oh, what a save there. Still feeling it is Kia Bright. As Jayla Hervey there, the attempt. Temple attacking there from the left side. Up Temple there, and there's a point for the Owls. This is a matchup, Aaron. Temple, number 2 in the American Conference in hitting percentage offense. UCF is second in the American Conference defensive hitting. Really 2 of the best.
Yeah.
Great matchup here.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see kind of what we call the cat and mouse game between the attackers and the defenders on both sides of the ball. How do the early swings that they take really dictate what the defense is going to do later on in each set and as the match progresses. So these first few points from both sides, you're trying to figure out what the defense is doing. And as you can see, Jayla Hervey is attacking that cross-court shot. She has such a nice high contact point. She makes really good contact with the ball, and it just falls too short of the libero.
3-2 UCF here in the opening set. They just set up. And violation there on the net. And a net violation point for the Knights. As UCF takes a 4-2 lead here early on. Temple had 11 blocks against UCF in their matchup back in October.
Oh, great dig.
Kia Bright there with the dig. And it looks like a violation against UCF there. Point for Temple. As it looked like Raji from UCF was under the net there. So, 4-3. Feels like a feeling out process here from both sides early.
Yeah, and Dayok just ripped that ball down cross court. So that means that Kia Bright has to be heads up on defense at all times.
Ball hit out of bounds, and now we're even at 4-all here in the first set. And for both teams, I would imagine, now they're trying to feel each other out, and after this bit of a delay, too. There's a serve. Right, mistimed that. And the ball goes to the Knights. Fortunate there, because that was not the way it was supposed to go, but hey, works out for UCF.
And you just see the raw athleticism of Kia Bright making a play. It's so tight to the net, but she hangs up in the air for so long. She can make a play on that ball.
She hung in the air for a while there. Not many players can do that. And she gives UCF a 5-4 lead. Now Bright again with a point for the Knights. Kia Bright, and Coach Dagenet and the staff just happy to have Kia Bright this year. She missed pretty much most of last year due to an injury and really hurt them.
And this is what happens when good transition points turn into great transition points. Jordan Pingle gets a perfect dig so Kia Bright can run that quick tempo set that she likes and just unloads on the ball.
6-4 Knights as Tempo gets the point back as the Owls pull within one there. Rotation now for the sides here, and good play here by Temple.
Yeah, and sometimes the best shots aren't the most powerful, so just finding the seam in the court, especially when you're off balance, is critical. You don't want to give away that point freely. You want to find a defensive swing.
And Kia Bright.
Great dig.
Good dig there by Temple as they look to set it up. And there's, again, an Amia with another great effort for the Owls. Now UCF looks to set. Bright off the net. And falls back into the UCF side. Point for Temple. And we're even at 6-all.
And keep in mind that Iram Oschu is in the front row for Temple. Their best hitter. She's second in the conference. She is a powerhouse. So anytime that Temple gets the ball in transition, they are going to force it to her.
And a point for Temple there as Allie Sable tried to finish that for the Knights. Was denied. And Temple takes the lead here. 7-6 here in the opening set. Now Pirich to serve for the Owls. Bright, a little overly aggressive there. And now Temple in a mini run, up 8-6 there. Is that the case there where that one just got away from Kia?
Yeah, and it all starts with the pass. So you can see Coach Maurer telling her setter, hey, we want to force the ball to the outside because the setter's in the front row. She's the shortest player on the team, but the pass has to be there.
And a set. And they get the point again as it hits the line. And now Temple the 9-6 lead and an early timeout by UCF.
And just talk about raw power. Iram Oschu is just so smart. She looks like she's going to swing that ball cross court, and then at the last second just crunches it down the line.
Oschu, as we mentioned, second in the American Conference in kills per set, 17th in the nation. Jayla Harvey's right behind her. Of course, Jordan Thompson leads the American Conference for Cincinnati. And Aaron, I think those three players probably the favorites for the Conference Player of the Year. Tremendous talents.
Oh, my gosh. And they all play relatively similar. Obviously, Jayla Harvey is that big, powerful. She explodes off the ground. But Iram Oschu is just one of those players that knows where to swing on the court. And then from Thompson, it's just complete, pure, raw, amazing, freakish talent. She is so incredible. What
a job this Temple program has been a turnaround by Coach Bakir. When he arrived at Temple, this was a program that really had a lot of success in volleyball. His first year, they won 8 games. And since then, they have been among the top in the American Conference. He has done a fantastic job here in his 6th season. Temple finished second last year in the American Conference, and they've won 24 games the last 2 years. They finished second in the last 2 years here in the American Conference. Done a phenomenal job turning Temple into one of the best programs in the conference. As we back to action, as Kia Bright gets it blocked on her attempt. Jayla Harvey saves it there for the Knights. 9-6 Temple here in the first set.
Oh, great block.
Bright there with the block. Now Temple resets. The ball hit out of bounds. Point for Temple. And right now, Temple a bit of a run. What do you think Coach Dagenet said there in the timeout here for UCF?
It's about settling down, getting a good pass so your setter can run the offense that they want. You have Taylor Wicke in the front row. She's such a good asset in the middle. They want to get her activated as early as they can, but it's tough to do with a block that knows exactly where the ball is going from the setting position and set up a freaking wall on the outside.
Allie Sable on the attempt there was denied here, Aaron.
Great close of the block, really high, nice and pressed over.
Temple had 11 blocks against UCF back in October. Certainly have a bit of size advantage on the Knights as the Knights get a point there, Aaron. How do you kind of overcome that size that Temple has up front?
Speed. You do it by speed, but the pass has to be there. So you can't run a tempo set of any kind to the outsides or to the middle without the pass being in a location that your setter can make a smart decision from the setting position.
So now Watkins to serve for the Knights, their best server. And trying to get UCF back here down 11-7 here in the opening set. Nice dig here. They set up Ostru. And Ostru missed it there. Just missed it there. And the point goes to the Knights. Had her opportunity there, but just a hair off.
And her arm swing is so unique because she doesn't actually use the same arm swing every time she swings at the ball. She controls the ball with her wrist and the arm swing where people usually control the ball with their shoulders.
And a nice save there by Jayla Harvey. Now Kia Bright tapped it there. Temple gets to it as they'll just toss it back to the UCF side to regroup. Bright gets the point for the Knights. An aggressive Kia Bright early on, and we're seeing maybe why she had so much success against Temple in her career.
And this is a good set because she is attacking the seam between the setter and the middle. So it's not as big as of a block like we saw on the right side earlier in this set. So she's able to attack that seam with a lot more efficiency.
11-9 Temple. UCF serving. And it's Ostru.
Oh, great
what a dig by Pingle. That's what she does. The reigning Defensive Player of the Week in the American Conference. There they set it up. Right there is Bright. She saw the opportunity and slammed it down, and the Knights are back within one. And Kia Bright, so far, been a dominant force once again for UCF.
And her response to adverse situations, she was blocked a few times. She hit the ball out one time. Her ability to come back into the match and respond well is what's really helping propel UCF back to a tie game.
UCF just gets a point. Looks like a rotation violation on Temple. And now we're all even at 11-11. So 4 straight points for the Knights. And not a surprise coming with Watkins. They're arguably their best server. And, of course, I jinxed her.
Every time it happens.
Oh, man. What are you, players like no in the broadcaster?
It's the broadcaster curse.
So Temple takes the lead, 12-11. Mia Hirakuji with the serve. As Bright, nice dig there. Now Ostchi. Oh, beautiful play and a point for the Owls. Boy, and Ostchi, of course, a junior out of Turkey.
And just swings so heavy on the ball. Again, her shoulders aren't giving you anything. She's actually controlling the ball with her wrists. So it's hard to defend her because you can't guess. There's no guessing. You just have to try to out-read or out-speed that ball. But it's coming at you at about 60 miles an hour.
An attack violation there in UCF. Temple now with 3 straight points as they lead 14-11. Mia with the serve. Now Gallert gets a point for the Knights. Much needed point. And how important is it for UCF? We talk so much about Bright and Harvey for other players to contribute.
It's critically important because, again, you don't want a player that has all of the weight on their shoulders. And that's what Temple does so well. They just spread that offense all around the court that nobody feels like they have to carry the burden of the load when they attack.
They go right down the middle, and Hickey, Taylor Wicke, the redshirt junior out of Omaha, Nebraska, gets the point there for the Knights. Good setup. And it's 14-13 Temple.
And those deep zones in the middle are the most susceptible because you have your players typically playing up a little bit farther on the court. So those deep shots are almost a guaranteed kill when they're in the middle.
There's a play there where Kirsten Overton, the senior, trying to go with the finesse move there, Aaron, and it backfired as it doesn't go over the net. And UCF with 3 points in a row have tied this up at 14. So a back and forth, as you would expect, between these two teams, just like they did back in October in Philadelphia. As Wicke trying to set up there. Gallert. And a good rally here. Both teams trying to go with a fast pace. Longest rally of the match to this point is finished, though, by Aschu.
And every single time that a block has gotten one of those soft touches, the team that's been able to do that has converted the transition point. And it's almost like you have to just take the bait and go with Aschu. You do not want to ever leave her one-on-one with that big of a seam in the court.
15-14 Temple. There's Jayla Harvey in there. Now UCF sets. Pingle. Jayla Harvey blocked there. Ball goes out of bounds. Point for the Owls. And there's that size again for Temple.
And so far, what Temple has done really smart throughout this whole match is they're taking the setter out in any out-of-system play. They're forcing Jordan Pingle to come in and make a bump set to one of the pins, and it's allowing the middles to make one less decision on the defensive side of the ball.
A miscommunication there, the net, and a point for Temple, and now Temple with a 17-14 lead there. And a timeout for UCF. They used their second timeout here in the first set, and so far, kind of what we expected. Both teams kind of throwing punches, little rallies on both sides. And I think right now the interesting thing that stands out is certainly Temple's size and Aschu with that swing. It's a very aggressive swing. Can that swing be intimidating for an opponent if you're trying to block it and she's going, you know you're going to get a very hard ball right at you?
Well, all you want to do from the blocking standpoint is channel the ball into the defense. If you get a touch on the block, that's like the bonus. All you want to do is channel the ball where you want it to go, typically cross court because your setter's in right back. You don't want to make your setter play defense because that forces you to be out of system. So as long as the block is setting up in a good position that they're forcing the ball to one side of the court, then they're okay. But so far, the setting from Kunderitas has been phenomenal because she's been able to take the middle out of the play by faking or juking the middle on the UCF side to create those seams for her attacker.
So now UCF has no more timeouts the rest of the set. Are you surprised that Dashni would call the timeout that early, or no? You thought it was right at the right time there. You don't want this get set to get away from you.
Exactly, and you don't want your team. You guys are exchanging runs of points in large quantities. Typically, teams that are matched this closely, they'll go 1 for 1, 2 for 2. But we're seeing 4-point runs, which is very uncommon at this level.
And Taylor Gallert ends that streak as she gets the kill there for the Knights. And it's 17-14 and a point for UCF.
And when we saw her warming up, her arm swing looked so loose and ready to go. She really gets that elbow nice and high, and she can create her good opportunities for herself by keeping it nice and high.
Hallie Scott comes in and serves for the UCF, and that ball goes right over us here in the broadcast booth. Point for Temple, and it's 18-15 Temple. As now Temple, Aschu will serve for Temple. A junior out of Ankara, Turkey. Played her first 2 years of volleyball at Charlotte, transferred over to Temple. Just a junior, played her first year. Last 2 at Temple. There's a finish by Jayla Harvey, the senior. Gets the point, 18-16 in favor of Temple. And a nice finish here by Harvey.
Yeah, and they're trying to run some different sets with Jayla. They're trying to run her in the inside, on the outside, trying to force this Temple block to not pick up on any tendencies throughout this match.
There's a nice, strong play there by Temple as they get the point there to maintain a 3-point lead, 19-16. Kirsten Overton will now serve. After Raposh put that kill away. Now UCF looking to respond. Nice dig.
And again,
Pingle.
taking the setter out of the match.
Nice finish there by Allie Sable. Just a freshman, Aaron, but has made big contributions for this team, even though she's just a freshman.
Yeah, volleyball IQ well exceeds her class age for sure. But the lefty on that right-hand side is such an advantage for any team because of how natural that arm swing is.
And a point for the Owls. Tyler Davis, the senior out of Palm Desert, California, with the finish there. as Temple leads 20-17 here in the first set. Remember, back in October in Philly, UCF won the first 2 sets. Temple came back to win the third and fourth between the Knights, won the fifth, and Temple there looking to get off to a strong start, and they lead 21-17, and they don't look phased at all.
No, and really what Temple's done very well in this first set is serve very tough against this UCF team. They've had a lot of out-of-system passes from that serve-receive position and have had to force the ball to the outside pins.
21-17 Temple as Kia Bright, the serve, gets the point there as the ball does not go over the net. Kia Bright, I'll use the pun, has been the bright spot for UCF.
Yeah, and so far I thought Jayla Harvey would have such an advantage because they haven't seen what she plays like really, in game. They've watched her on film, but so far Kia Bright, because she played in that match, may have the advantage just from that.
And a strong finish for Temple there as they get the point. 22-18 here in the first set. Of course, those new to college volleyball, first to 25 wins the set.
And Dayoc just unloads on the line, no block in sight, almost like it's hitting practice, batting practice.
Dara Peric to serve for Temple. Bright with a great finish. Another kill for Kia Bright here in the first set, keeping the Knights within reach here. 22-19 Temple.
And just a great set by Farah Raji. The ball was actually a little bit lower than she likes. She likes to take that ball nice and high. Was able to control it and get a nice tempo for Kia Bright on the outside.
Miranda Watkins comes back into the match here and will serve. Their best server for UCF, just a sophomore. Oschu. And a quick point there for the Knights, as Wiki, right in front of the net, saw a spot and gets the point.
And the trick to this is going up second, but because Taylor Wiki is so tall, she has such a distinct height advantage in that situation. She's able to make that first contact and just push the ball to the floor.
Timeout for Temple. What do you think Temple is going to talk about here? Calling this timeout, leading 22-20, still in good shape. Is this just a thing where you don't want UCF to get in a big run?
Yeah, you never want to give a team hope this late in the set. So essentially what you're doing is you're talking more about what you think your opponent's going to run in this situation than anything that you're doing incorrectly. So you're reading your scouting report, trying to figure out what set they go to at the highest percentage, and then set your defense up to respond to that.
Now, if you're UCF, how do you come back in this set? You're down 22-20, but it's within striking distance here, right? But it's certainly not out of it. Is it just keeping the momentum and the pressure on them?
I would say you have to get the pass going first. We've seen passing being a little bit inconsistent, really on both sides, but more so I think for UCF, and then converting that first ball into a kill. You cannot keep the rally going long because as the rallies progress, Temple seems to be getting better at the longer rallies. So you want to make a definitive kill in this first ball and just chip away the points.
Temple does have one timeout left. UCF does not have a timeout left. 2 timeouts per set. Each team is allowed during each set, in case you're new to the sport. Watkins to serve here at 20-22. Oschu. They don't go to her. They go the other side, and UCF was prepared for it. Kia Bright. Nice dig there. Now they go to Oschu, does Temple. And that ball is delivered there for a point for the Owls as Aram Oschu gets the Owls a 3-point lead.
And that's exactly what you don't want to do against a Temple team, is give them a free ball that they can convert and run any play that they want, especially when it's this late in the first set.
Harakuji to serve for the Owls, up 23-20. Bright, beautiful set and finish by Kia Bright.
And she has the ability to get better as the match goes on. Again, she was blocked a few times, hit a ball out, but now she's really figuring out what the blocking and defensive tendencies for this Temple team are, and she's been able to capitalize late in this first set.
Oschu gets it in. The ball was tipped, they said. And now Temple with set points. 24-21. What a finish for Oschu. Had a strong first set. So now Temple, 10-0 on the road this year. Undefeated in the conference, looking to get the first set. Hervey says not yet. Hervey finishes it, and it's 24-22 Temple.
And both teams run this drill every single time in practice. You either have set point or you have to fight for it.
So 24-22 Temple, they still have 2 more set points. So the pressure will be on UCF. And specifically, Allie Scott. Oschu denied there. Temple goes the other side. It's a block and a point.
Great
Oh,
play.
what a save by the Owls. And another save here. Wrong rally. And the first set goes to the Owls. A tight first set, but Temple finds a way and takes a 25-22 first set here at the venue. We'll return for the second set as you're watching American Digital Network's coverage of the American Conference Volleyball between Temple and UCF. Owls take the first set, 25-22. We'll be right back.
Access to traditional prosthetics for kids is challenging. At Luminous, my goal is really to give them a chance to chase their dreams and to instill confidence so that they can go after whatever they want.
De ver o sonho meu, do meu filho, sendo realizado. Isso não tem preço.
The labs at UCF were so instrumental. I couldn't be in a better place. This is where I call my home.
What makes a Temple Owl? Meet Stella. She's wise, fierce, and she's not alone. Temple University, where owls call home. We are the cherry and white. The city is our classroom, and we lead the rush hour, making our mark on every field around the world. A world without Temple, well, that's like the sky without the North Star. Temple, never stopping.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
Welcome back. Start of the second set here at the venue in Orlando, Florida. American Conference Volleyball. Temple taking the first set, 25-22 over UCF, Aaron. And, boy, the Owls showed why they're tough on the road here and a big finish here to end the set.
And, you know, UCF really clawed back. They got a good block. Just weren't able to convert this point. And against a good Temple team, we've seen them run their offense at almost perfect efficiency throughout that first set. You have to try to give them something that's going to knock them off their feet. Now, if UCF wants to come back in this set, they have to try to keep those rallies in their favor. They need to start attacking that setter in the backcourt. They need to force this Temple team out of system because so far Temple has been they've been able to wreak havoc on this UCF team because they've taken them out of system so much in that first set.
Temple taking the first set. We mentioned how big this match is. Both teams trying to chase down SMU in the American Conference standings. SMU, the defending regular season champions, 15-2. Cincinnati won last night in straight sets. They're 14-3. Then you've got Temple at 12-5. UCF 11-5. Temple, they're hoping to win here and then win over the weekend and set up a showdown with SMU at home on the 23rd of November, a match that will be carried on the digital network. They feel confident. They've beaten SMU 2 of the last 3 meetings. They just want that match to mean to have the regular season title at stake. That's why this is such a pivotal match for them. Absolutely,
100%. And if anything, you want to just, even if this match doesn't go with UCF's favor, you just want to take away a win from that SMU team who has kind of run away with the conference. But, you know, so far Temple has been able to do things really well as a team. They're hitting .333, and Iram Aschu is hitting .455. That's like a batting average of .455.
Wow.
I mean, how many contracts would you get if you were a DH that could hit that high? You know,
what can UCF do to slow her down?
They have to put the block in front of her and almost cheat the middle over to her and let the other blockers kind of fend for themselves, because so far she has been able to score a lot of points. Doesn't mean that UCF's offense isn't running efficiently either. They're hitting a .316. They just haven't been able to slow down the attack from Temple quite yet.
Start of the second set is Kia Bright's serve. deflected off the net, and then Temple hits it into the net, and the Knights get the first point here in the second set. For UCF, this match is pivotal. They want to win this match so they can have a tiebreaker against Temple and try to improve and win out and maybe get themselves as high as they can in the standings and get themselves in position to get an at-large bid, and that's what's at stake for them, as they've really a long shot for the regular season title, as that ball was wide 1-1. Part of the reason why is they've lost both meetings to SMU. They've lost both meetings to Cincinnati. So really the tiebreakers aren't in UCF's favor. But if they can get a win here against Temple, that's a good, and finish strong, that's a good, statement there for the committee.
Yeah, and especially if things go the way Coach Dagenet said, getting 2 to 3 bids for this conference. If you're in third position, that is critical because you get one of those bids. So, there's so much that kind of is a toss-up right now for what you want to do postseason. And I know that both coaches are thinking short-term. They want to win this match. And with swings like that from Jayla Harvey, UCF can certainly chip away and take a second set.
UCF with an early 2-1 lead over Temple here in the second set. And a nice touch there by Tyler Davis. And evens it up at 2-2. Boy, that's not an easy as play as it looks.
No, and look how she doesn't show that tip until the last second, and it's just enough height to get over the block, but nobody can make that play because you don't really see it. The hitter's almost behind the block.
And a point there for the Knights, as Galler gives the Knights the lead, 3-2. Of course, you mentioned, you talked to Coach Dagenet. They're hopeful for 2 to 3 bids from the NCAA. The American Conference this year, the number 6 toughest conference in the RPI. The tremendous year. SMU RPI 34, Cincinnati 39, and UCF and Temple 51 and 52 respectively. That's a point for Temple. So a really strong year for the conference that really has earned an opportunity to have multiple bids into the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, and I just love to see that players are what's forcing the conference to be that powerful. I mean, the recruiting that both of these coaches have done and the development that these coaches have done to both of their teams has been exceedingly instrumental.
What a play there by Sable to keep the ball alive for the Knights. Here is 4-2 lead for UCF in the second set, and they're going to increase the lead to 5-2. So a good start here by UCF. As you see, a great rally here, Aaron.
Yeah, and what is so unique about Jayla Harvey is, again, that high extension point. She jumps so high off the ground, and then she uses every inch of that arm swing to swing over the block. Doesn't have to be very powerful. It just has to go between two people, and she's able to get a kill. Oh, great dig.
Amazing dig by Kia Bright as Jayla Harvey gets her shot denied. And another shot, Sable there that time. And a loose ball, and it goes to the UCF's favor.
And Westney, freshman middle blocker, she has done an amazing job for this team. She has 1.08 blocks per set. She's averaging at least a block a set. And she is owning that middle of the court right now.
Timeout Temple as UCF coming out aggressive here, Aaron. A little extra eagerness after losing the tough first set, as you would expect, off to a quick 6-2 lead.
Yeah, and I think it might have been that big delay. You know, you're out of the mental game for a little bit. You have to kind of refocus yourself back in here and refocus back on that game plan that you guys had talked about and worked on executing in practices.
A 6-2 lead for the Knights here in the second set. And, of course, we mentioned this is the first of 3 broadcasts on the American Digital Network. And, of course, our next broadcast will be tomorrow, Houston at Cincinnati. Aaron, we saw Cincinnati last year with Jordan Thompson and that crew. They're still in the hunt for the regular season title. And a big match. They can't have a letdown going against the Houston team that's hungry to kind of spoil Cincinnati's season.
Yeah, and you know what? If Thompson's anywhere remotely as good as she was last year, then I think that Cincinnati can run away with it. Houston's had kind of a tough season so far. Not where they want to be. But, yeah, I mean, it's any given day, any team can come and sneak. And what you don't want to do against a team this late in the season that you're the heavy favorite of is drop even a set. So even if Houston takes a set off that Cincinnati team, that's a win for them.
We're back to serves here. It's UCF up 6-2. See what Temple comes out with here after the timeout, and that's a point. They went quick there, Aaron.
And both teams really haven't activated that middle as early as we thought that they would. Eva Dayok is one of the most powerful attackers. We saw her run that slide and then watch her unload on that sliding one. They haven't utilized the middle as much as they should in those first ball situations.
There now, of course, UCF now 6-3 lead. They set up Jayla Harvey, the senior, playing in her last 2 home matches. And now Temple gets the kill there, and it's a 6-4. It's Tyler Davis with the finish there for the Owls.
And what a good balance to Iram Aschu is Tyler Davis. That is a sharp cross-court shot right around the block, and she's been able to really take that L2 position and take quite a bit of ownership to it. Plays very high-level volleyball.
Point for the Knights there as they lead 7-4 here in the second set.
And again, just UCF attacking that setter side of the ball, almost forcing that 4.
And an ace by Jayla Harvey. And the Knights now doubling up Temple 8-4. And now Temple's going to go to the bench here and make a couple of moves here.
They're going to run a 6-2 now, so they're pulling in. They're pulling in Gunevig, and they're pulling in their secondary setter, Vandegrift. So they're trying to get more offensive options on the ball, take some relief off the outsides.
And there's Tyler Davis.
Oh, great dig.
Big dig there by the Knights. And the ball's off the net, out of bounds, point UCF. And UCF now with a 9-4 lead. Now Jayla Harvey. Serves there. And a miss hit, and the ball stays on the Temple side. Ball UCF, and the Knights on the roll here at Aaron, leading 10-4.
And that's a hard set to come into. You don't know the tempo of the match. You don't have the feel for it. You don't want to run that tempo set right away. Force the ball to the pin so that you can create opportunities for that middle as you feel more comfortable in the match.
CF trying to distance themselves here in the second set. As UCF trying to set. There is Harvey. Kia Bright. Denied there. Aschu from the backside. There in the back there. And that ball is hit long by Allie Sable, the freshman, and a point for Temple.
And both teams just exchanging good rally points, good defense, making good reads on the ball, and setting up those positions, setting up those plays that they want to execute and get kills so that they can get that point. Those rallies are really critical to win because, A, you tire your opponent out. I mean, I'm tired from watching. But B, your opponent has to rethink how they're going to score points against you.
Dara Peric to serve, the junior out of Serbia. Strong dig there. Aschu denied. Wesley with the finish for UCF.
And when you hit the ball as hard as Aschu does, the ball comes back off the block just as hard. Great positioning by Westney in the front row. Just has that left hand in the perfect position.
11-5 UCF. Pingle on the serve. And now the set. And again, they go to Allie Sable, the freshman out of Dublin, Ohio, finishing for the Knights, and that'll cause another timeout for Temple. As Sable goes towards the left side there on the finish, and a strong start in the second set. UCF with an early 12-5 lead. Of course, you see Todd Dagenet, 9th season for UCF. You played for him.
I did, yes.
And really turned around this program now. Made the NCAA tournament 2 years ago for UCF. Ended that long drought. They hadn't made the tournament prior to that since 2003. And here they are with another 20-win season here, trying to get themselves in position for postseason.
And, you know, prior to them being in the AAC, that would have been good enough to go to the tournament.
Yeah.
You know, and now they're finally at the point that they want to. They have a 21-win season, and they're still having to question if they're going to make the postseason or not. So not only has UCF's level of volleyball come up, but everybody in the conference and around the country's volleyball has increased. You know, I have the opportunity to see that at the high school level, and let me tell you what, those girls hit the ball just as hard as these collegiate level girls. I mean, it's incredible to watch.
You played, and you were fantastic in your own right, but you have said you don't think you would be able to play in today's game because these players are bigger and stronger than you would. The game's gotten bigger.
Yeah. Outside hitters are much more physical. When I played, they had to be a little bit more smart because we were only 5'9", 5'10", 5'11", but now you're seeing 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2" on the outsides, and you have an extra sub. So if you need to sub them out and have somebody, a defensive player, come into the back row, you can certainly do that. So the ability to have a big outside hitter is definitely critical because outsides get a lot of sets.
UCF with a 12-5 lead. Looking to take command here of the second set and even this matchup. See if Temple has an answer. And they do there as they get the point there. As Eva Dayak gets the point for the Owls. What does Temple have to do to get back in this set?
Definitely chip away points. You want to keep this serve as long as possible, so you have to defend what UCF serves at you.
12-6 UCF. Ooh, a miscommunication there almost for Temple. And they're going to reset there by tossing it back to the Knights side. Kia Bright, Richard Jr. and that ball off and a point for UCF. They lead 13-6. Just tremendous athletes in today's game for volleyball. You mentioned more players are playing at high school level, AAU level. I mean, it's a year-round sport now.
Yeah, and I mean, it was definitely when I played, but the competition at those levels has increased significantly. And, you know, it's so cool to see and be a part of what the future of volleyball looks like because we are in store for some incredible athletes. But, I mean, look at what we have now. Just imagine how they're starting earlier. They're doing the weight training earlier, so they're becoming even more physical.
Long rally here. Kia Bright. Temple trying to set. Ostru gets there denied.
Oh, great digging. Great rally.
And the ball's still alive. Temple wanted a violation there, but no call. And we continue on.
Oh, what a dig.
And the ball hits the net, and a point for Temple on the longest rally of the match to date.
And that's when volleyball gets fun. That is when it gets fun. When the rally goes on, you have these crazy digs. Block recovery, Jordan Pingle with the one hand. Just trying to keep keep the balloon off the floor and just keep the ball going as long as it can.
13-7 UCF. And that's the thing, because you got better athletes, bigger and stronger, you get to more balls now than maybe the players could have 10 years ago even. And a nice block there. Ostru denied. And UCF with a 14-7 lead.
So what the difference here is, they left the right side, Raposh, one-on-one, and then they had Wiki bail out to the outside to double block Astru. So that they've made that blocking change into the second set that they didn't have in the first.
And it's been effective to this point. As UCF with a 14-7 lead. And a whistle and a violation on UCF. Net violation, point for Temple. I will say, though, I feel like you would find a way to still be a factor in today's game.
I try to be a libero.
You and
try to be a
your
libero.
Former teammate, Andy Youngblood, I think, would still be able to play there.
She definitely would still be playing. She's got one of the most wicked arm swings you've ever seen.
I remember that,
She played setter. Can you believe it?
To the greats, Andy Youngblood in attendance, former UCF player. As Gallert gets the point for the Knights. 15-8 UCF.
And Gallert, you know, her natural tendency position is the outside, but she's been able to make the adjustment and move to the right side with the addition of Kia Bright back into the mix. And she's done a phenomenal job being another offensive option for this UCF team.
And UCF now, big there, Temple trying to chip away here in this deficit. And that ball hit long. UCF claiming the ball was touched.
The line judge called the touch. Up official overruled that point.
Let's look at it, see if there was a touch here.
No, that the only way it would have touched was off of Tyler Davis with the natural trajectory of the ball. So it's a good overrule by the top official.
15-9 UCF. There's Ostru with the nice finish there.
And you know that Kirsten Overton, who just dug that ball, is a middle. So again, the level of athleticism that these players are having, they're not as one-dimensional as they would have been when we played back in the dark ages.
Watkins.
Oh, great dig.
With a great dig by Watkins. And now Temple. Tyler Davis. Tyler Davis, the senior from Palm Desert, California, having herself a strong second set, keeping the Owls within striking distance.
And this match is just getting more and more fun because, again, it's what offense is going to outsmart the other.
And the Temple just did that. And they're within 3, and that's going to call a timeout for UCF. We talked about it earlier during the match. Temple, number 2 in the American Conference in hitting percentage. UCF among the best in defense percentage. Temple kind of won that battle in that first set. Right now, UCF has kind of made some adjustments, but Temple now starting to make some adjustments.
Yeah, and UCF made the good blocking adjustment like we talked about earlier in this set, but they haven't been able to respond to Tyler Davis's efficiency. I mean, she was hitting very, very well in that first set. She was hitting a 571 in that first set with 4 kills, 0 errors on 7 attacks, and she's only improved in this second set. So you've slowed down one aspect of this Temple offense, but you still have a lot of heavy hitters on this Temple team. And so far, you know, UCF came out with a big lead, and that's what's really helped them keep the lead late in this second set.
So UCF with a 3-point lead. One thing that jumps out to me, Aaron, seeing Temple in person, I could see why they're so successful on the road. They don't get too high when things are going good. They don't get too low when things aren't going well. They're very even keel.
Yeah, I agree 100%, and I think that just starts from their coaching staff and what they are able to create, the environments that they're able to create for this team and keep them focused, especially after almost a 45-minute break before the start of the match.
Gallard with the finish there for UCF. And UCF leads 16-12.
And that's a really hard swing for a right-handed attacker to make because the ball actually isn't on your arm already. You have to go find it with your feet and then take a big approach to find the arm swing.
Tyler Davis again. And Aaron, you just talked about her and the success she's having, and there it is again. Right now, UCF has no answer for Tyler Davis.
And Westney, who is one of the best blockers on the team, she still is a freshman, so she's going to make little errors, little technical errors at the block, and an experienced player like Tyler Davis is just going to jump on that and steal points from a team with that.
16-13 UCF, and that ball goes out of bounds, and all of a sudden, Temple quietly getting themselves back into the set. 16-14. As Temple here won the first set, 25-22. Sable. Ball is called in there, got the line, and the Knights take a 17-40. That's a big point there because Temple is starting to get some momentum here in this set.
Yeah, and what's funny is UCF really started this match with a lot of momentum. Just a bad read by Tyler Davis. She camped in, thought they were going to run the one, and just had to chase that right side attack. You want to stay in front of your attacker on that block.
And a point there for the Knights. It's Kia Bright, the redshirt junior out of Stark, Florida. Been tremendous, gives the Knights back the 4-point lead.
And again, I love that the UCF outside hitters are able to utilize different shots. They haven't gone to the same one every single time.
Tyler Davis with the point there. The ball is off UCF, and it's 18-15. So clearly Temple, you mentioned the adjustments UCF has done on Ostru defensively, so Temple has seen that, and they're going to Davis now more. And as a result, it's 18-15. Sable. Serve in the dig. Now they go to Ostru. And Ostru says, don't forget about me. They moved her that time, Aaron, than the other side there, and has had success.
Yeah, and what she did differently on this swing is that she went deeper. She's been trying to swing really far on the 10-foot line or really try to slam that ball down. By adding a little bit of length to that attack, you have more ability, you have more court to work with, so your percentage goes up significantly.
18-16 UCF, and a point for the Owls. And just like that, Temple, which looked like was in serious trouble, down 7 points at one point or within one. And that's going to cause a timeout for UCF. Todd Tesh is going to use his second timeout of the set here. What is he going to tell his team now that had a big lead in the second set? Now it's down to only one.
You know, there's a lot of things I'm sure he wants to say. It's frustrating to have a team when you have such a big lead like that to have them be able to sneak in. But the choices that the team has been making aren't the best. You know, that tip over by Rajai, that was a free ball opportunity against a Temple team who, again, would hit 333 in that first set. You have to make your teams work for points. You can't give them anything because you want to still be aggressive. So you have to leave yourself a little room for attacking errors or service errors and not make it so tight where both of you are kind of gasping for air. The hands are around your neck. So you have to be a lot smarter about what plays you're creating for your opponent so that you're setting yourself up to be in a better position as well.
And if you're Temple players, you'll feel like you have to have a second win, right? You look like this set was going to get away from you. You were down 7 at one point, and now you're within 1. You're right back in it.
I think you nailed it on the head when you said that they are just so even-keeled, and their confidence hasn't deterred at all, even with the blocking response or being down definitively in this second set by a UCF team.
Yeah, tremendous save for Temple, at least a great effort. But Knights do get a point, and a huge point in this set.
But even though they didn't get that kill or they didn't keep the ball alive, Sable hit that ball really hard. She thought it was going to be an easy kill, but because Temple kept it alive, you don't get that emotion, that excitement from a big kill like that, just because your defense or the defense was able to pick the ball up.
Jordan Pingle will serve, and what a year Jordan Pingle has had, reigning Defensive Player of the Week. I know you've been impressed with her, seeing her play.
Only a sophomore and already has over 1,000 digs. Yeah, I'm super impressed. It took me 4 years to do that, so extremely impressed.
Part of a bright future for this program for UCF. And that ball is out of bounds, and now UCF back up 3. But that's the thing that's exciting for both of these programs, Aaron. There's still a lot of youth on this town, a lot of young talent, so the future's bright for both of these programs. Clearly, they're not thinking about that right now. They're trying to extend their season into postseason, but still, as that ball is into the net, one of the reasons why the American Conference right now is as strong as it's been is you got a lot of young talent coming into this league and great coaching staffs like we have both here at Temple and UCF.
Yeah, and recruiting is so critical. Players want to be excited about the coach that they're playing for, and what these two coaches have done is create a culture where people are excited to play for you. And so it's just, again, stepping the level of the conference up with it.
Ball just missed outside, and now back to 1, 20-19, and this is very reminiscent of these two teams when they played back on October the 16th in Philadelphia. It was a back-and-forth roller coaster that went 5 sets. We're only in the second. UCF trying to even it up, and they get a point there from Allie Sable. Talking about the youth, just a freshman. And she finishes there to give the Knights a 2-point lead.
And Parrish almost looked like she thought that was going to go out, but just didn't make her mind up soon enough. And so that's really it's a huge gift for this UCF team who's fighting and clawing to get to 25 first.
Watkins with the serve. Quick play by Temple. Nice play by Watkins to save it for UCF. And a block. And the ball point for Temple. So the Owls there is Carla Givik, the sophomore out of Germany, with the point there.
And the best swing in volleyball is when you go high off the hands and out of bounds. Even though that is a playable ball by UCF, there's no one in the defense that's designed to make that play and convert it because of how tight it is to the net. So swinging high against the hands is a very, very aggressive attack and one of the smartest in volleyball.
21-20 UCF. And the ball goes out of bounds. UCF huge, trying to keep Temple at a distance here, maintaining now a 2-point lead. 22-20, and Kia Bright will come to serve for UCF. break. Off the net, and Temple couldn't save it. A break for the Knights there. Sometimes this game is a matter of inches. That ball clipped the net, and it fell over to Temple. An inch lower, and that ball is a net and a point for Temple. Unbelievable.
And those let serves are so hard to read because they could come really fast and just tip the top of the tape, or they could completely change direction or just completely lose all momentum and just drop on your side if you hit it hard enough.
As a server, as the set develops, is it more pressure on the server? Are they aware of the point, or they block that off?
Oh, absolutely. And especially in these two very, very competitive coaches' regimes, serving, the one thing you can control, if you make a mistake this late in the match, they tend to get a little upset with you.
Now Temple.
Oh, great dig.
Nice dig there by Pingle. We talked about her, the reigning Defensive Player of the Week in the American Conference. Over 1,000 digs in her career, just a sophomore. Another save there. Now Watkins to Jayla Harvey. And that's off the net, point UCF. And now the Knights will have 4 set points here to even this match.
Jayla Harvey hits the ball harder out of system than I think anybody would hit in system outside of Thompson.
Set point. And the ball is blocked. Out of bounds. Temple saves 1 set point. It's 24-21. Now Ostru will serve here to keep Temple in the set. Ostru to serve. Into the net, and the second set belongs to UCF. 25-21. So Temple wins the first set 25-22, and Aaron, UCF responds, wins 25-21. What we expected, back and forth, and we got an even match so far through 2 sets.
Yeah, and it's almost at 0 now, so they're going to take the longer break, talk about the game plan, probably revise it a little bit, and come out with even more intensity.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what both teams will do now as they head to the locker rooms for intermission. We'll take a break. We're going to toss it over to Haley Alton for the latest news around the American Conference in all sports. And then we'll be back for the third set a little later on here between UCF and Temple. You're watching the American Digital Network's coverage of American Conference Volleyball. Temple and UCF all even at a set apiece through 2.
Thanks for tuning into The Rise. Let's get you caught up across the conference. The men's basketball season got underway last weekend, and American teams have already collected 12 wins on the year. Among those winners were UCF, Memphis, and Tulane, giving Johnny Dawkins, Tubby Smith, and Mike Dunleavy Sr. their first wins with their respective programs. At SMU, head coach Tim Jankovic picked up right where he left off last season while serving as head coach, helping the Mustangs to a 9-0 record in their start last year. This season, SMU is 2-0 heading into the 2K Classic, where the Mustangs will take on Pitt on ESPN2 on Thursday night. The Mustangs were led by the Player of the Week, Semi Ojeleye, making his SMU debut after not playing in a game since November 30th of 2014. Ojeleye averaged 22 points and 11 rebounds in the Mustangs' 2 wins. In Friday's victory over Gardner-Webb, he finished with 26 points and 14 rebounds, following it up with 18 points and 8 boards versus Eastern Michigan. Coming off the bench to score 12 points in Temple's season-opening 97-92 overtime win over Big Five rival LaSalle, Quentin Rose collected Rookie of the Week accolades. The end of the week marks the unofficial start of tournament season as Tulane will meet Oklahoma in the first game of the Tire Pros Invitational in Orlando, and UCF will take on Mississippi State in the first round of the Charleston Classic. Tulane and Oklahoma will air at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPNU, while UCF and Mississippi State will tip at 5 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2, making Thursday night a doubleheader of American Hoops on ESPN2. On the women's side, the American opened the season with a 13-2 record last week. UConn debuted Monday night, extending its winning streak to 76 games with a 78-76 win over number 12 Florida State. The Huskies' winning streak sits only behind their own program record of 90 straight, set from 2008 to 2010, and the UCLA men's record of 88 consecutive victories. Nafisa Collier had a game-high 28 points for UConn and a key block down the stretch to help preserve the Husky win. UConn will continue its rigid schedule by hosting number 2 Baylor on Thursday in its home opener at Gamble Pavilion. The Huskies are 53-10 against teams in the top 10 since the start of the 2008-2009 season. The opening weekend saw UCF move to 2-0 under head coach Katie Abrahamson-Henderson, while SMU head coach Travis Mays recorded his first win as a head coach in the Mustangs' season-opening win over Texas State. Temple, meanwhile, also got off to a 2-0 start with wins over crosstown rival foes St. Joseph's and LaSalle. Junior point guard Aaliyah Butts scored her 1,000th career point in the win over the Explorers. East Carolina opened the season 2-0 with a pair of home wins last Friday and Sunday. Graduate transfer Kristen Gaffney scored a career-high 32 points for the Pirates in East Carolina's 83-81 overtime win over Detroit Mercy. Gaffney earned the league's first Player of the Week honor, while rookie Kendrian Elliott from Tulsa took home Freshman of the Week honors. Elliott started her first collegiate game last Friday in a win at UMKC and scored 11 points on 57% shooting. Tulane senior Leslie Vorpal set a new program single-game assist record and a new American mark with 15 against Grambling State last Saturday. The Green Wave had 2 players score 20 or more points in Colby Morgan and Meredith Schulte. Schulte was 8 of 9 from the field versus the Tigers and shot a perfect 4 of 4 from beyond the arc. Over to men's soccer, where the 2016 championship just came to a close this past weekend. Tulsa earned its 3rd consecutive title on Sunday after outlasting top seed USF 4-2 on PKs. Keeper Jake McGuire earned Most Outstanding Defensive Player honors, while teammate Juan Sanchez was named the Most Outstanding Offensive Player after scoring 2 goals and an assist over 2 games. The Hurricane earned the Americans' automatic bid to the NCAA tournament with the win and will face Creighton on the road Thursday in NCAA first-round action. USF was selected as an at-large team and will host Florida Gulf Coast on Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern. On the women's side, the season ended for SMU and Memphis over the weekend in NCAA tournament action. The Mustangs fell at Oklahoma 1-0, while the Tigers lost a 2-1 heartbreaker in overtime. Congrats to both teams on a great season. However, UConn is still in the hunt for a national championship as the Huskies defeated Albany in its first-round match last weekend. 4 different players scored in the match, including senior Stephanie Ribeiro, who netted her 21st goal of the season, tying her for first in the nation for goals scored. UConn travels to Florida as the Huskies take on Auburn in the second round of the NCAA tournament. Kickoff is set for 3 p.m. Eastern on Friday. Cross country is down to its final week of the season with the NCAA Cross Country Championships on Saturday in Indiana. 1 team from the American and 3 individuals will be racing. Tickets were punched to the championships when UCF's Anne-Marie Blaney won the South Regional, Tulane's Emmanuel Rodich won the South Central Regional, and Luke Traynor won the Midwest Regional. Tulsa's men's team also qualified for the championship with a second-place team finish in the Midwest Regional. SMU's Hannah Miller also earned an individual qualifying spot with a 4th-place finish in the South Central Regional. Some exciting news over in softball. USF head coach Ken Erickson has been recognized for being an outstanding ambassador of the sport for nearly 30 years. Erickson received softball's highest honor last Saturday when he was inducted into the National Softball Hall of Fame. With an 863, 436-1 record, Erickson is the winningest coach in the history of USF athletics. He is one of only 22 active coaches with 800 or more career wins. Aside from his USF duties, Erickson has been the head coach for the U.S. women's national team since 2011. He became the first male in USA softball history to represent the organization as both a player and a head coach. That's all we have for you today on The Rise. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great week, everybody.
All right, great to hear. Thanks again to Haley Alton with the latest news around the American Conference. And certainly we're here at the venue in Orlando, Florida, Aaron, and we're through 2 sets. Aaron Campbell joining alongside Eric Lopez. And we're really excited about this match. We had a little bit of a delay, but it's been worth it to stick around because these 2 teams have been throwing haymakers back and forth.
Yeah, and really the fact that they're tied 1-1 is really indicative of how this match has gone. Both teams have gone on big runs. Both teams have come out with pretty definitive leads, or it's just been so balanced on both sides. Temple obviously playing better volleyball in the first set, and then UCF played really good volleyball in the early of the second set, and then Temple was able to kind of fight back and give this UCF team kind of a scare.
Should be a good one. We look forward to it. We're a couple of minutes away from the third set. We'll come back in a huge match. Temple and UCF all even at a set here at the venue in Orlando. You're watching coverage of the American Conference Volleyball here on the American Digital Network.
Access to traditional prosthetics for kids is challenging. At Luminous, my goal is really to give them a chance to chase their dreams and to instill confidence so that they can go after whatever they want.
De ver o sonho meu, do meu filho, sendo realizado. Isso não tem preço.
The labs at UCF were so instrumental. I couldn't be in a better place. This is where I call my home.
What makes a Temple Owl? Meet Stella. She's wise, fierce, and she's not alone. Temple University, where owls call home. We are the cherry and white. The city is our classroom, and we lead the rush hour, making our mark on every field around the world. A world without Temple, well, that's like the sky without the North Star. Temple, never stopping.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
And welcome back here to the American Digital Network's coverage of American Conference Volleyball here in Orlando, Florida at the venue, home of UCF. Temple and UCF all even at one set apiece. Eric Lopez alongside Eric Campbell. Now, what do you look forward to seeing here? We're about to start the third set. We might get at least 2 more sets, maybe 3. What's going to be the key here moving forward?
Does Temple go back to that 6-2, or do they go to their 5-1 that they ran in the first set? They did have to use the 6-2 to bail them out, and the 6-2 was able to chip away the points against this UCF team, but they won definitively with that 5-1. So what setting changes or what offense are the Owls going to run in this third set? And then if you're UCF, it's how do we recreate the early parts of that second set by executing the pass and getting good kills and not erroring out and allowing your opponent to come into the match.
So we're set for the third set. Again, Temple coming in 12-4 on the season, 19-7 overall. They're trying to get their 20th win. It would be 3 seasons in a row that Temple would have had at least 20 wins or more. They've had 24 wins the last 2 seasons back-to-back. They finished second in the conference the last 2 seasons. They're trying to move up and catch SMU. UCF coming in 11-5 in the conference, 21-8 in the conference. Temple will serve to start the third. And now the Knights going from right to left. There they set. Of course, both teams tend to change after each set. And a point goes to the Knights early on. For those that maybe are new to the sport of volleyball, why is it that both teams change sides during multiple times during the match?
So you always, in the event that there's an advantage to having one side, so if the lighting's weird on one side, you want to make sure that it's even, so both sides have to face that adversity.
1-0 UCF. Now Jayla Harvey. And a point's 1-1. What, from a player standpoint, what kind of goes through your mind in intermission? It's a break. You have a break after a lengthy 2 set, and now it's almost like you regroup and then restart.
Yeah, and if you're someone like Jayla Harvey, you want to rethink your offensive strategy. What was the block doing against me in those first 2 sets? How can I capitalize on that? And then for the rest of the team, it's how do we respond to a team that we know isn't going to quit easily?
And a point for the Knights. And UCF with a quick start here in the third, up 3-0. And I'll tell you, it has been an impressive night for Kia Bright.
And Kia Bright hitting out of the back row, just producing anywhere she can on the court. And we talk about her offense so much, but we forget to talk about how good she is on defense as well. And so we get to see that on display now that she's in the back court.
UCF trying to save that ball there, and they do. But there's Temple with their first point of the set. It's 3-1. Izzy Raposh with the finish here.
And Raposh's warm-up was eccentric. I mean, every time she went up to swing the ball, I thought it was going to make a dent in the floor. But so far, UCF has been able to slow her down, except on that last attack. We really were able to see how athletic she is.
Ball is long, and the ball is 3-2. You mentioned dents. This is a new floor, too.
Yeah.
Coach Dagenet, you and I were talking to you about that earlier. This is the first year they've changed the floor there. A lot of very positive reviews from what I've talked to.
Yeah, and a lot less bloody than that sport court. I still have some scars from that.
3-2 lead for UCF. As try to touch the ball. And net violation there as Austria looked like hit the net. And UCF takes a 4-2 lead. These two teams now have played 7 sets against each other. Is there any secrets left now? Or do these two teams now know what each other's going to do?
I think that each team is trying to be tricky while also keeping the game as simple as possible. So it's kind of you're always tiptoeing that line of, okay, well, let's keep the game as simple as we can, but we also need to keep it complicated for our opponent. So both teams are playing really high-level volleyball right now and thinking very hard about how they're going to progress in this third set.
Raposh with the finish there, 4-3. Of course, here in the American Conference, you play home and home, each against every team in the conference. There's the finish. Now Temple serving at 3-4. Jayla Harvey hits it into the net, and we're tied at 4. Of course, go ahead.
And people think that that's an error from Hervey, but what it is, it's actually a win for Raposh, who set that block up well and forced Hervey to try to have to cut that ball super sharp cross court. Oh, great set. And then she does it on the next play.
There you go. Jayla Harvey with the finish. Of course, a senior, playing her last weekend here at home.
And immediately corrects her mistake on the contact of the ball. She doesn't fall away as much as she did on that first one, so she keeps that contact point nice and high. Oh, woo. Great dig.
Ospu with a vicious shot there, but a good dig by UCF. 5-4 lead for the Knights here in the third. As Kia Bright again. She has had her best hitting percentage of her entire career came in 2014 against Temple. She hit over 400 that year, and here she delivers again.
And you have to give so much credit to the libero Pingle, who is setting those out-of-system balls, bump setting almost perfectly on a tee for her attackers. And there's Westney, your 1.08 blocks per set blocker. She's second in the American Conference with blocks. And you see why. That is a wall to have to try to get through.
3 straight points for UCF. They lead 7-4. And now the Knights looking for a run here. Bright draws it back. Taking the ball in the net. Whistle. And a violation, net violation on Temple. Seen a few of those calls here. And now UCF with an 8-4 lead and a timeout for Temple. As UCF out to an 8-4 lead here in the third.
And almost completely identical to that second set. UCF playing very similar to how they did in that second set. And they were able to win it because they maintained this lead throughout the whole match, at least.
An 8-4 lead for UCF. We talked about the standings. UCF 11-5, 21 wins in 4th place. But if UCF were to beat Temple here today, they would have the tiebreaker over Temple. They would have won both matches against them, and who knows, that could be the difference when the committee looks at all these teams for come the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, and it's always a scary position to be in where it's just like you just don't know. You don't know what the rest of the conference is going to look like. SMU could go down. UCF could be that team that takes SMU down. You could have that Houston maybe steal something off of Cincinnati. You just never, ever know. So, you know, all you can do is control the match that you're in now, and your best opportunity to create yourself for an at-large bid is to win this very, very important match.
And talking to both coaching staffs, too, the mindset is let's just win out. We win out, that's what we can control.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
Everything else, hey, whatever happens, happens.
Exactly.
And if you win out, you're sending a statement, too, that you're one of the best teams, one of the 64 best.
And make the decision harder for the committee to make. You know, make them have to sit in a room for 3-4 days to decide what they want to do with your team, because that gives you a better opportunity to sneak in as well.
8-5 lead for UCF here in the third set. Is Hannah Vandergrift to serve for Temple. Kia Bright had 25 kills in the victory in Philadelphia back in October. And has been the leader so far tonight. There's Ostru. Oh, there's a nice finish.
And Kia Bright didn't see this, excuse me, Eric. Kia Bright didn't see the sets that she wanted to in that rally. And so because she gave this Temple team a free ball, you can see Ostru just finally being able to unload into this third set.
Now 8-6 UCF. And they set up Bright. And boy, Kia Bright has been fed tonight, Aaron. She has been the focal point of the UCF offense.
And when she gets her feet to the ball and the set is as fast as it is, she actually overshot that ball and was able to crunch back and find the swing in the seam. Just insanely athletic moves.
9-6 UCF. Ostru. Nice dig there. And a finish there as UCF ball goes out of bounds, and the Knights now extend it back to a 4-point lead, 10-6.
And we're seeing Sable's power on the right side. She's had to take some swings. She's had to take a little bit of heat off the ball throughout this whole match, but we were able to just see her athleticism as well.
Jordan Pingle to serve, 10-6. Nice save there. Hervey with the save there as Bright puts the ball back into the Temple side. Ostru. What a play there for Aram Ostru. Number 2 in the conference in kills per set. Another example of why there. 17th in the nation, too.
And Jordan Pingle actually makes a good read on it, but because that ball is coming at you at 60, 65 miles an hour, even if you get a touch, you want to try to take some heat off the ball, and you can't do it with one hand.
And a finish there for Temple as they get it back within 2, 10-8. So back at 4th here between these two teams.
And Temple did elect to run the 6-2, so they do have the 3 options in the front row on the attacking side of the ball.
There's a block. And they set up Sable, and she delivers. So Allie Sable, the freshman, with the big kill there, and extends the Knights their lead to 3.
And just great set by Rajai. I like that they went immediately back to her after she got a really nice soft block. Good pass, controlled that, and then Rajai was able to set Sable up on that really nice set all the way out to the pin to let her crunch down the line.
Miranda Watkins to serve for UCF. 11-8. Bright. Nice dig there, Ostru. But UCF gets the point.
And even sometimes if you hit the ball as hard as Kia Bright does, if you hit it right at somebody, good things can happen. Sets up that whole play, the overpass, and Gallert, nice, calm, cool, and collected, just does a nice dump over the net.
So UCF with a 12-8 lead. Temple goes quick, and it works as they get the point. And again, Temple, doesn't matter what the score is, you know, they are going to run their system. They're not going to be fazed by the situation.
No, we saw that in the second set.
And
absolutely.
And a fortunate bounce. Their ball deflects off the net, and good for Temple. As a player, though, right? You don't care. It's an ace still on your scoreboard.
Yeah, you don't care. You're just thankful that the volleyball gods are working in your favor.
It's 12-10 UCF. And another point for Temple. And just like that, it's cut down to 1. I notice in tennis when that happens, the tennis player kind of gives them that sarcastic, I'm sorry. The volleyball players don't even know. We're not going to apologize.
No, we're going to get excited because that's a free point.
12-11 lead and a violation on UCF. Double hit, and now all of a sudden, just like that, Aaron, we're tied at 12.
And again, exact makeup as second set. This is where Temple was able to sneak back right around this 12, 13, 14, 15-point mark.
Kia Bright denied there. And the ball is on the line, and Temple takes the lead. 13-12, they're on a 5-0 run.
And here's Tyler Davis, again, just being exceedingly smart about where she's attacking the ball. She swung cross-court so much that the defense responded, took 2 steps in on the block, and then the setter's already bailing out, so that one zone is wide open for her to attack.
Timeout UCF, Temple with the lead, and, you know, it's so much focus, and rightfully so, on Ostru, but Tyler Davis, a senior, maybe not a surprise, Aaron, that a senior on the road here, leading the comeback for her team in Temple like Davis is doing right now.
And she's been such a leader for this team because she's been so consistent throughout this entire match. Even though we've seen Ostu kind of fluctuate in and out of getting her kills, Tyler Davis has been a good balance to that because she's been able to generate those points and really own her 3 rotations in the front row.
So what does UCF do now? They're in the midst of 5 straight points against them. How do they kind of get back and had control early in this set?
They've had 2 or 3 overpasses that they need to control. And again, it's almost the exact same difference in that second set is that once the passing kind of starts to fade off, that's when Temple's been able to sneak in because of the attacks haven't been as aggressive. If UCF's in system, they're a tough team to beat because they have so many weapons to go to, but they have to get the pass first.
So 13-12, Temple lead. See what UCF responds. Kia Bright. Temple now. Ostu goes more finesse there. UCF has an answer. Whistle. And a violation on Temple, and we're even at 13.
And confusion on the offense for UCF. They just got lucky that that Wiki is as smart as she is and goes deep on that attack. Otherwise, they would have been in big trouble having the offensive tempo in the front row and being able to turn over that point.
13-all, third set. Temple won the first set. 25-22, UCF won the second, 25-21. And a long rally again here. Watkins. Harvey. Oh, nice touch for the senior. Jayla Harvey, number 3 in the conference in kills per set.
And again, another miscommunications between Watkins and her offense, but the athleticism of Jayla Harvey can bail you out of those tough situations.
So UCF regains the lead and gives it back as ball in the net for Kia Bright there. Didn't get enough lift on that one. Looked like mistimed their jump a little bit there.
It looked like the toss was a little bit too low and it was a little bit too far out in front of her. So she's naturally, when you attack that ball, it goes down rather than up.
14-all here in the third set. Temple with the serve. Jayla Harvey gives the Knights back the lead. 15-14. Jayla's starting to insert herself in this match.
Yeah, and such a high contact point. She's able to attack that deep 5 zone. I mean, there was nobody there, and even the libero for the Temple was like, I have to let that one go because I have to try to read her sharp cross because I know she could hit it.
So the Knights with a 15-14 lead. As Jayla gets it again. The senior, Jayla Harvey out of Huntsville, Alabama. Over 1,000 kills in her career. Playing her final weekend here at the venue. As a player, are you aware of that this is it from a final weekend, or is that something you block off?
It's more so on Sunday or on your final match. That's when you're hyper aware of it. Now it's fun. And she's, you know what? She's sending her career off with a bang. She's so much fun to watch. I love her because she's always smiling.
She's got some moves there.
She sure does. She was dancing in the pregame, too, and I was just cracking up.
There it is. She's been there. She's having a good lap, but she's got the UCF back on track here, back to a 3-point lead.
Yeah, and especially being out of system, generating those first ball kills are critical against a very highly efficient Temple team.
17-14, UCF with the lead here in the third set. Match even at 1 set apiece. We're here at the venue in Orlando, here at American Digital Network. Eric Lopez alongside Aaron Campbell. It's the first of 3 volleyball matches that you can see on the American Digital Network. Tomorrow and Saturday, it'll be Cincinnati hosting Houston, and then a big one, November 23rd. Make a note, SMU at Temple. Temple beat SMU earlier this year in Dallas, and they're going to meet in Philadelphia. Huge ramifications. Could be the regular season championship, could be on the line for both teams, and also NCAA tournament ramifications. But for Temple, they got to first try to win this match and set themselves up for that showdown.
Yeah, and I mean, again, this is when volleyball gets so exciting. The tournament's looming in front of you. A conference championship is looming in front of you. And a lot of times the season can be daunting and it can be tiring, and that's why you see those 2-month kind of swings where teams kind of have a lull. But the energy of the championship and the tournament get you right back into the love of the sport.
Back to action here. Temple unable to save it, and the Knights extend the lead to 4 again. That's been the theme in this third set. UCF would jump out to a 4-point lead. Temple comes back, and then UCF responds.
And great dig by Holly Scott, just getting underneath that ball, and then Westney just using her tree height and getting a touch.
Nice block and a good save for Temple, although the ball just went out of bounds. Tough break for Temple. They did everything they could to save that ball, but ball just goes wide, and now UCF with their biggest lead of the set, 19-14 here.
And keep in mind, Westney is only a freshman, and she is owning that net so far against this Temple team. She's had a lot of good slowdowns, so future of the program is right there at number 11.
Harvey tosses it back. Off-true. And a save for UCF. Nice block. But point Temple. Ball goes out of bounds, and it's 19-15. You mentioned the youth of UCF. This coaching staff, Todd Dagenet's been here a while. He's built this program. New assistant coach, associate coach Jenny Maurer in her first year was a head coach over in the Missouri Valley. He's a former player, and it's been a big boost for this program as well. Big, too, to have a former head coach be your top assistant, knows what your job is, kind of like a second hand as Temple gets the point. That's been a big help for Coach Dagenet to have a person like that with the experience that Jenny Maurer brings.
And think about football. You have your head coach who is usually a former offensive coach or a former quarterbacks coach or whatever. They typically have their specialty. And so it's really important to find somebody that balances your coaching staff from something that you don't focus on. Coach Dagenet is all about defense and setting, where Coach Michelle Chapman, who was there for most of his tenure, was all about the middles. But now you see Maurer, she's adding a little bit more to the setting position and doing a good job of that as well.
Now Temple with a little bitty mini run, cutting the deficit to 2. Harvey, nice play by Temple there. Harvey tries again and is successful. Jayla Harvey, the senior at the point, gives UCF a 3-point lead.
And the makeup of good hitters is how they respond to being blocked on the first play and what they do different when they get the ball right back. We've seen all of the UCF players who have had their ball blocked, their teammates have recovered. They've actually gotten a kill on the second ball because they've learned they have that immediate volleyball IQ to pick up on that.
Nice finish there. As Ostru trying to get herself back. Had a dominant first set. You talked about the adjustments UCF's made. Temple's going to get her back involved here.
Yeah, and that block was set up a little bit too far on the outside. They have to really try to block her more cross court, find the ball so that they can block that ball.
Nice play there, and Temple back within 1. And even though it might feel like UCF has really outplayed Temple and have had the most success in the set, here we are, Aaron. It's just a 1-point match.
I know, and I love Temple because they're just so even-keeled. I mean, look at their coach, Bakir. He is just, he argues some points, but for the most part, he lets his athletes play.
He's done an amazing job. He came and took over this program in 2011. They were not a winning program. They 8-20 that first year, and since then, 19-11 in 2012, 18-12 in the 2013. Mind you, that was the adjustment period from the Atlantic 10 over to the American Conference. 2014, 24-8, tied for second in the conference. Last year, 24-8, second in the American Conference. And this year, 19-7, right back in the mix. A phenomenal job for him turning this program around, especially with the conference change, going from the A-10 to now the American Conference when they joined back in 2013.
Yeah, and again, the ability to recruit because your players are excited to play for you is you can have the best coach in the world, but if people don't know about it and players don't know about it, then, you're one of those mid-major program or you're one of those middle-of-the-pack programs. But what both of these coaches have done is made players excited to play for the program and the logo on that shirt. You take pride in the jersey that you're wearing, and I think that's really critical in building a program.
And Temple's roster is a showcase of the popularity of how this sport has grown worldwide. They got players from Turkey, Serbia, Germany, just to name a few. Tremendous to go all over the world to find talent now. As there's a nice block and a point for Temple that tied up at 20-20, but credit there to Temple again. But again, the international game rolling over to the States in the college game.
And we saw Tulane actually do that pretty well when I was at UCF. Tulane had recruited, they'd built up their program by recruiting international players.
Jayla Harvey with the point to give the Knights back the lead, 21-20.
But now you have Kia Bright in the front row, who has been able to execute against this Temple team. So much needed rotational change to get Jayla Harvey back in the back row and maybe get some offensive production from Kia Bright.
And a block and a point for the Knights. Westney, who you've highlighted, right there involved.
And I was able to watch her play against East Carolina a few weeks ago, and I was so excited about her because she reminds me of a player that we had played with, Nicole Rydell. She just has that, like, she just wants to go. She's like chomping at the bits all the time to be a good blocker, good attacker, and good player. And I just love watching her play.
Violation against Temple, and UCF now back up 3. So UCF responding after Temple throws their punch at them. They've responded, and they back up 3 here in the third set. And that again off the net. And now all of a sudden UCF with 4 set points here to take a 2-1 lead here. As the crowd here at the venue gets up, as they tend to do at the end of sets when UCF has a set point. Well, UCF hits the net there.
The whole gym just that was great. The sigh from the whole gym just went up. That was great.
As a player, are you aware when fans are like standing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Sometimes. Sometimes when you're in a away gym, probably not, but when you're in your home gym, a little bit more. But you try not to.
24-21 UCF. Vandergrift to serve for Temple. Kia Bright, very fitting. She would finish the set for the Knights as she finishes it off here in the third set and wins the third set for UCF, 25-21. And a tremendous finish for Bright here in the third.
And that ball bounced. Again, talking about this soft floor, that ball, I think, left a permanent dent on the ground, and she was able to unload.
So Temple won the first set 25-22, but UCF has responded, winning the second and third sets by identical 25-21. We'll be back with the fourth set. You're watching American Conference Volleyball here on the American Digital Network.
Access to traditional prosthetics for kids is challenging. At Luminous, my goal is really to give them a chance to chase their dreams and to instill confidence so that they can go after whatever they want.
De ver o sonho do meu filho, sendo realizado. Isso não tem preço.
The labs at UCF were so instrumental. I couldn't be in a better place. This is where I call my home.
What makes a Temple owl? Meet Stella. She's wise, fierce, and she's not alone. Temple University, where owls call home. We are the cherry and white. The city is our classroom, and we lead the rush hour, making our mark on every field around the world. A world without Temple, well, that's like the sky without the North Star. Temple, never stopping.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
Welcome back here at the venue here in Orlando, Florida, at the campus of the University of Central Florida. Eric Lopez here alongside Aaron Campbell, former volleyball outside hitter. Played 4 years here at UCF, as a matter of fact. And great match here. And UCF responding here, Aaron, in the second and third sets, taking Temple's best punches. They jump out to 4-point leads, only to see Temple come back. But UCF not fazed by that. They respond. And now UCF has the lead 2-1. What do both teams now have to do here in the fourth set?
Well, I think the matchup that UCF created against their Temple attack was very critical. I think Temple should stay to that 6-2 because even though it wasn't as productive as their offense wasn't as productive as it was in that first set, they were still able to throw UCF off just a little bit. And adding the one more offensive option in the front row was really the key to them fighting back. But if you are Temple, you have to come out in this match and not let UCF take a lead because so far, every time UCF started off very, very aggressively, they've been able to take the set.
One of the keys we talked about in the pregame, Aaron, this matchup, Temple number 2 in the conference in hitting percentage. UCF top 3 defensively and against hitting percentage. And I'm looking here at the stats. Temple in that third set only hit 154 after getting off to that hot start in the first set.
Yeah, and you know, UCF didn't hit as well as they did in that first set either. Only 279 in that last set. So it's going to be a offensive war in this fourth.
Underway here in the fourth set. UCF with a 2-1 lead on the Owls. This big pivotal matchup here on this Friday night in Orlando in the American Conference. 2 weeks left in the season. Both teams with postseason aspirations.
And they've switched Tyler Davis to the right side in this rotation.
Lengthy first point goes to the Owls after a lengthy rally. And so Temple gets the first point. Remember, Temple has yet to lose a match on the road this season. I'm talking the whole season, 10-0. And that's in jeopardy here. But again, we've talked about it. They're not going to be fazed by that.
No.
You couldn't tell, actually. You couldn't even tell.
No, not at all.
A 1-0 lead for Temple. Oh, and they say the ball was tipped. And so a point for the Knights, and it's 1-1.
And I was able to watch Taylor Gallett in her senior season. She came to camp, and to remember what she played like then and to see what she's playing like now is completely different. She is so much more aggressive now, and great senior season so far.
Dallas set. They went to Davis. Temple. And they get the point there, a 2-1 lead. As it was actually Raposh there with the finish for the Owls.
And so far, Raposh is 2 for 2 on points for Temple. She's been their first player to tally the first 2 points.
It's a 2-1 lead for the Owls here in the fourth. Jayla Harvey. Deflected and a save by Ostru. Knights look for the set. Gallert. Got it. Got the line, and we're even at 2. So Gallert gets the quick point there for UCF.
You know who has the toughest job in the gym are these line judges, because that ball, every attack comes so fast. I don't know how they make the calls. Give them so much credit because they are calling a really good match tonight.
2-2 here in the fourth. Point there. Denied there, and now both teams with the rallies. Such evenly matched teams.
Oh, great dig.
They set up Ostru. Ping couldn't get a hand on that. Pingle got a hand on it, but couldn't dig it out. A point for Temple. Good patience there, too, by Temple offensively.
Yeah, definitely. And good defense and reactions from UCF to keep that rally going.
Yeah, that was just the case. Sometimes good offense just beats good defense, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Vandergrift to serve. 3-2 Owls here in the fourth. Of course, these two teams, similar. Been near the top of the American Conference since they both got here in 2013. Looking to finish once again at the top of the standings. And a violation. Point for UCF. 3-3 here in the fourth.
And a much-needed long rally win for UCF. Again, they get Kia Bright to the front row. They get Jayla Hervey in the back row, she has been phenomenal on defense. So this is definitely a place where UCF can sneak some points.
3-all here in the fourth. Nice deflection there. Of course, we go back to 2014. UCF won the regular season title in the American. And a nice play there by Wesley. And the Knights regain the lead, 4-3.
Look at the discipline of that inside seam hand. She is so far pressed over that net. Nothing is going to come through that. She uses every inch of her natural height and then adds some pretty physical jumping to that. That's a wall to go through.
Knights with a 4-3 lead. As Jayla Hervey serve. And Ostru with the finish. No doubt about that one for Aram Ostru.
And again, how you beat teams that block you is by speed. So that set was just a little bit faster. Wesley wasn't able to make that quick lateral movement to close that block.
Now the junior, Ostru out of Turkey. And a point for the Knights.
I have never seen that happen before where the ball hits, almost goes 50-50, and then just falls back on her own side.
We've seen a lot of first here tonight, Aaron.
That is for sure. No line judges.
To start the match. That's why we got delayed. As UCF with a 5-4 lead. And that ball out of bounds, and UCF goes back up 2 now, 6-4. Now Pingle to serve. I mentioned 2014. UCF won the regular season title. Temple finished tied for second. And these two programs, the way they're set up, will be contenders here for a while. There's a nice set there. Tyler Davis, the senior, with the finish there. You know, we talked about Temple adjusting from 8-10 to the American. UCF came over from Conference USA over to the American and adjusted very well for Coach Dagenet. Much stronger league, too. Number 6 conference RPI in the country. As there's a finish for UCF. Among the conferences, the American's better than the ACC, which is a Power 5, quote, conference.
Yeah, and what the American Athletic Conference has been able to do off the wings of players like Kia Bright, Jayla Harvey, Jordan Thompson, and players like Aram Ostru is just continue to chip away and position themselves to be super competitive and play tough teams. That's how you become a good conference, too, is you go play those big powerhouse conferences and take wins.
7-5 lead for UCF. Tyler Davis. Play there. Bright. Good dig there by Temple. It was Ostru. Watkins to Bright. Kia Bright had 25 kills in the victory over Temple earlier this year and has been the difference to this point so far tonight.
And how she does it is because you think she's going to hit the ball so sharp cross court. You can see the defense is so sucked in, and now she's just attacking those deep corners. So as she reads the defense coming in or going deep again, she's able to respond.
Nice finish there for Temple. Is Carla Gunevik out of Germany with the finish.
And that's the kind of Achilles heel of blocking those slides one-on-one. If you don't block right where the person's body is, you leave way too much court open for someone to tee off like that.
It is an 8-6 lead in favor of the Knights. Here in the fourth set, UCF with a 2-1 lead. Wicki! Nice play there by Taylor Wicki, the redshirt junior out of Omaha, Nebraska.
And a little unconventional for Wicki. She wants to run that slide with high efficiency. The ball's just pushed a little bit too quickly for her to get her feet to the ball and sneaks away with a tip kill.
9-6 UCF. And a good finish quick there by Temple. As Overton, Kirsten Overton, the senior, has been quiet tonight. Gets the kill there.
And that's part of now Temple's game plan is to attack that left side block from UCF because so far they haven't been able to slow down those slides one-on-one.
Dara Parrish to serve for Temple at 7-9. Jayla Harvey. Temple now. Ostru. Oh. Good attempt on the block by UCF, but to no avail as Ostru gets Temple right back within 1.
And libero, Hirakuji, makes such a good dig on that play. That's a big attack from Kia Bright. And libero just sneaks underneath, sets that play up, and Ostru's able to finish it.
And that ball is in for Taylor Gallard, the senior out of Maryland. Gives UCF a 10-8 lead.
And again, watching Gallert in warm-ups, she had it. Everything was moving good. Her flow was good. Her approach was good. And so because she has her footwork on point, she's able to respond to it with her arm swing as well.
Temple gets the point back there. Over 10. Getting her second point here in the set in the last few points. Temple within 1, 10-9. Again, Temple has not lost a road match this year. UCF has 12-5 here at the venue. Something got to give as Gallert. Hervey. Of course, you look at that UCF 12-5 home record. There's a block and a point for the Knights. They lead 11-9. You look at those 5 losses in conference. They lost to Florida State, which is a national power in volleyball. LSU out of the SEC, SMU in Cincinnati. So you got to be special to win here. And the Knights with 11-9 lead now. You're in the 4th set. Ostru mishit that, but it stayed in.
Might have looked like she mishit it, but I think that's with full intention. She saw Tyler Davis attack that one zone, got some pretty nice kills out of it, and so she's not thinking about power right now. She's thinking about winning this set. So
you think it was more of a misdirection?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. 11-10 UCF. That ball is out, and it's 11-on. That's the thing. Some of the great players can control the tempo, right, and the speed of the ball they hit.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that time, you see Jayla Harvey going after that one zone on that 32 shot. It's the best shot to go for, but that was a good block.
11-all here in the 4th. Now Pingle. To Jayla Harvey. That's long. A little wide there, and Temple takes the lead. Temple was down 4 earlier in this set, down 2-1 in a must-win set to force a 5th, and they have taken the lead here in the 4th, 12-11. Sable blocked. Ball, the net call, and it's a violation on the Owls. And coach, they're not happy for Temple. The Temple bench not happy with that call. Point to UCF. We're tied at 12. Bakir stood up there when that call was made on the violation. Now the block as they block Ostru. And UCF, just like that, regained the lead. And
Sable and Westney are a huge wall to get through. Great discipline with that right hand from Westney. It's the most susceptible hand for a right side blocker.
And a strong finish for Temple to even it up at 13.
And Temple has made some really good middle attacks throughout this 4th set. They've been able to utilize that block, leaving some seams for their outsides who've been able to sneak in and keep this game nice and tight.
Janine Simmons with the kill there. She's only had 33 kills in limited action this season, the junior. Big one there to tie this up at 13 in the 4th.
Oh, good dig.
And that's blocked, and UCF unable to save it. What's the call?
He's going to replay it. He blew the whistle too early. He wasn't going to call a lift or anything on the UCF side.
So an inadvertent whistle.
So they're going to replay that call.
And Coach Bakir can't believe it. He is looking at both judges here. So we're going to have a do-over. Pivotal call here in this 4th set, 13-all. And now another whistle. And a point for the Knights. Not sure what the call there was. Probably a violation of sorts, but UCF takes the lead 14-13.
Yeah, they called Davis in the net on that block.
Davis will get that one. Make sure that there's no doubt about that one. That ball deflected out, and it's tied at 14. Another tight set here, Aaron. Between these two back and forth.
And really, this 4th set you could flip a coin, and either team could win at this point.
And a finish there for UCF. As UCF goes back out as Wiki with the point there for UCF.
And I love those sliding threes because sometimes blockers will lose their attacker. They don't check where they are because they haven't, Wiki hasn't had a lot of swings in this set, especially in those first ball kill situations. So having her run that slide one in or slide three, she has it kind of one-on-one at that point.
Davis going with a soft touch. And then off the net, a nice play there. Reaction for Temple as Gunevik, the sophomore, evens it up for Temple at 15.
And Gunevik was very smart about keeping her hands on her side of the net and letting the ball come over. If she had touched the ball before it had crossed the plane of the net, she could have been called over the net, and a point could have been awarded to UCF. So good discipline by her.
And a block there, and Temple takes the lead. 16-15 as UCF tried to set up Kia Bright, but Temple was ready for it.
And because Jayla Harvey had some errors, now you're starting to see the pressure on Bright a little bit more to execute those kills and keep this lead or keep this match really tight.
And another block. And Temple now up 2 as they block Taylor Gallard. And that's going to force Todd Tashin and UCF to call a timeout.
And he immediately wants to talk to his setter, Miranda Watkins, after these last few plays, kind of get an idea of where her mindset is and make sure that everybody's on the same page.
Such a critical moment here in this match. So much on the line here. UCF with a down 17-15. They won the second and third sets 25-21 after Temple won the first set 25-22. You look at the standings once again. SMU on top, 15-2. Cincinnati, 14-3 in second place. They'll take on Houston tomorrow. You could watch that match on the American Digital Network. Temple, 12-4. UCF, 11-5. Really, the loser of this match, basically eliminated from the not the NCAA, but eliminated from the conference championship, and certainly a dent into the resume for the NCAAs, whereas the winner gets a boost out of a top 50 win. Temple hasn't lost on the road this year. UCF beat Temple in Philly earlier this year. So if UCF wins, they'll have the tiebreaker over Temple, which could be a big difference between second place and third place, the way this conference is shaping up.
Yeah, and it's incredible to see kind of what the top tier of the conference looks like. Normally in conferences, you'll have a team that just definitively wins, or you'll have a tournament that answers all those questions. But because the AAC doesn't have a tournament, there's so much left up in the air for each of these teams.
Davis. Bright. A nice save there for Temple to keep it alive. Ostru. And a block, the ball off the net, and it goes out of bounds. Point UCF.
And great series by both teams, just scrambling to make plays. And Kuna Duritz was so good on making that contact with her right hand to keep that ball alive. Even though Gallert was able to finish it, that was a really good rally.
The ball way out there. Long, and just like that, match is tied at 17.
And Rapash saw that ball was tight to the net, already bailed into that attack, so the ball caught behind her, and she didn't have any other choice but to swing behind her head and out of bounds.
Davis with a nice touch for the senior, giving Temple back the lead, 18-7. Tyler Davis has been fantastic for the Owls tonight.
And Davis really is the only player on this court who's been able to hit that off-speed shot and get kills efficiently. Everyone else has had to do it to bail themselves out of bad sets, or they've had to keep their feet on the ground, but she's been using it situationally to score points for her team.
18-17 Temple. That ball is point for Temple as UCF couldn't handle it. And the Owls now up 19-17. And you look right now, the Temple bench edging on their players, trying to force a fifth set. And a nice finish there. Wiki was there, and it pulls UCF within one.
And a lot of times middle blockers, they see this and they just want to go off and swing heavy. But Taylor Wiki, the senior, she's given into that temptation before. And she's a redshirt junior, but she's been in that position before, and she has learned from that mistake.
Oh, nice finish there. As Temple goes quick there, up tempo, and gets the point to take the 20-18 lead here in the fourth set. As Overton with the big play there, and now Overton to serve, the senior, Pennsylvania. Jayla Harvey. Pyra there with the dig there. Pingle with the save for UCF. Ostru.
Oh, great dig by Bright. Almost got a kill out of it, but perfect dig by Temple.
Gallert. Whistle and a point for the Knights on the violation.
And a much-needed call in UCF's favor. Kia Bright almost got a free ball kill, but Parrish ran that ball down and kept that ball alive and executed a perfect dig, running away from the ball and just using her elbows to cut it back into the court.
20-19 Temple. UCF serving here in the fourth. And another net violation on Temple. And for the first time, Aaron, in this match, as you see Ostru frustrated, some frustration coming from the Temple players. They feel that a couple of whistles have gone against them.
Well, their setter is back row, and she goes up to block this ball. Tries to save it. It's already past the point of the net, and because Westney's contact, it was actually a back row attack, so good call by the officials.
And then Temple responds. They get a deflection there, and they retake the lead. So they were able to regain their poise here and take a 21-20 lead. A back-and-forth match here. Feels like a postseason match. And an ace. What a time for an ace. And Temple takes a 22-20 lead. That'll get a timeout on the court for UCF. But Temple, I just mentioned, they looked like they were getting frustrated with the whistles, but once again they respond with 2 quick points and they take a 22-20 lead.
Yeah, and Jayla Harvey on that last play was thinking about her attack rather than her pass. We see outside hitters do that quite often, where they think about the pass before they think about the attack before the pass is there, and it was just an easy ace.
Unbelievable match. It's been a heck of a year for volleyball, this sport. Of course, we had the Summer Olympics in Brazil and Rio.
Yeah.
I mean, tremendous boost there with the excitement in beach volleyball and the indoor volleyball. And people watching more volleyball than ever before, more coverage than ever before. We're just a couple of weeks away from the NCAA tournament and another great year in volleyball and a great year here in the American. And this match has lived up to the hype that what we expected here when we walked in.
Yeah, and I think the perennial powers, Texas and Penn State, have really done a good job. Russ Rose, because he had those 4, 5, 6 seasons where he actually didn't even drop a match, he really, really brought attention to the sport. They were on Sports Center often. It was a display for everyone to see how powerful the sport of volleyball can be and how entertaining it is. Like, if this doesn't make you excited about watching sports, then I don't know what will, because this is competitive volleyball at its finest right now.
Jayla Harvey, and it's now across the country. It's no longer, just the American Conference among the best when it comes to college volleyball. And they're showcasing it here tonight. As Ostru, one of the top players in the country, gives Temple there a 3-point lead, 23-20 here in the fourth.
And almost a miscue behind Parrish and the libero to whoever's going to take the second ball. And then here comes Ostru just to put that ball away.
Jayla Harvey. Whew. That ball was digged in right back, and then Temple. Oh, what a save for UCF.
Yeah,
and
he's calling it a lift, yeah.
A lift there. Do you like the
yeah,
agree
it's
with
a
the
good
call there? Temple was asking for it. Now Temple with 4 set points. A point away from forcing a 5th and deciding set. And the serve into the net.
Serve. Oh.
I mentioned earlier,
cringe.
It gets a little tighter, right?
Yeah.
Late in sets.
Oh, just makes you cringe. As a player, being in that situation and missing that serve, you just know that it's one of those things that's going to be burned in your brain forever, even 5, 6, 7, 8 years later.
And another point for UCF there, as Ostru was trying to finish it off, and UCF creeping back within 2, 24-22. If you're UCF, you're just trying to get it to within 24-23 to put the pressure on Temple here. As Jayla Hervey serves. And the finish for the Owls. Big point there as Dejak from Croatia, the sophomore, sends us to the 5th set as Temple comes back and wins the 4th, 25-22. And how about this? So Temple wins the 1st set, 25-22. UCF wins the 2nd and 3rd sets, 25-21. And then Temple now regains the 4th set, 25-22. They played a 5-set thriller in Philadelphia back in October 16th, and it's only fitting, Aaron, that we're going to a 5-setter here in Orlando. So we'll take a commercial break here, and when we come back, we'll have the decisive 5th set here from Orlando between Temple and UCF. You're watching American Conference Volleyball here on the American Digital Network.
Access to traditional prosthetics for kids is challenging. At Luminous, my goal is really to give them a chance to chase their dreams and to instill confidence so that they can go after whatever they want.
De ver o sonho meu, do meu filho, sendo realizado. Isso não tem preço.
The labs at UCF were so instrumental. I couldn't be in a better place. This is where I call my home.
What makes a Temple Owl? Meet Stella. She's wise, fierce, and she's not alone. Temple University, where owls call home. We are the cherry and white. The city is our classroom, and we lead the rush hour, making our mark on every field around the world. A world without Temple, well, that's like the sky without the North Star. Temple, never stopping.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
And welcome back here from the venue here at the University of Central Florida, in Orlando, Florida. American Conference Volleyball here on the American Digital Network. Eric Lopez alongside Aaron Campbell. We head to the 5th set between Temple and UCF, Aaron. And these two teams played a 5-set thriller back in Philadelphia in October. And here we are in the 5th set, and we're headed to another decisive set, first of 15 wins. And it's really going to set the tone. These two programs, so much evenly matched. What's going to be the key now with first of 15 wins?
Yeah, so one thing that Coach Dagenet would always preach is that the team that makes 3 or less errors in the 5th set will come out with the victory. So it's tiptoeing that fine line of making errors and being aggressive. So how do you do that against these two teams? And you know what? It's at 0 now. We are starting 0-0, and it is a sprint. The rest of this match has been a marathon, going the full distance to 25, but right now it's a sprint to 15.
Temple 4-5 in 5-setters this year. 5 of their 7 losses have come in 5-set matches. UCF playing their 4th, 5th set match. And both teams regroup. And important, it's a first of 15, it's a sprint, but at the same time, Aaron, the players have to stay to the game plan. They can't put pressure. You're not going to score quick points. You're not going to score 3 points on one play. You still got to keep poised, right?
And you know what? I think that's something that people forget sometimes is that you can't score more than 1 point with a play. So you just have to – it's about control. And I think that we've seen both teams be able to harness that control. The only time we've seen UCF go out was that last play by Jayla Hervey when the ball came over the net and she wanted to take another rip of the ball and got blocked.
So we get set here. 5th set. Temple 12-4 in the conference, 19-7. UCF 11-5, 21-8 in the conference. Temple 3rd in the conference currently. UCF 4th. UCF 51 RPI, Temple 52 in the RPI. A lot of ramifications on this match for postseason aspirations for both of these programs. And here we are coming down to a 5th set. Just like it did back on October 16 in Philadelphia. Temple to serve. Knights going to on the white tops there. Jayla Hervey to hit there in Ostru. The big.
Oh, good swing.
Point is in the line, and point for Temple. UCF thought it was out, but the linesmen say it was in. Let's look at it. That's close.
That is close. Woo. It's hard to tell from that angle, too, exactly where it hits. You can't really see that shadow.
And Jayla Harvey responds as the ball goes out of bounds, deflected off Temple, and UCF evens it up at 1-1. Again, if you're new to the sport, 1st to 15 in the 5th set wins. You must win by 2 as well. At least 2. 1-1 here in the 5th. Jayla Harvey. Nice block there. Now Temple resets.
And another block.
And a point for UCF.
And another block by Westney. Again, only a freshman, and playing with such good discipline and technique.
2-1 lead for UCF. Davis for Temple. Owls reset. They go finesse there, and it works. Little off speed, and it works for Temple to tie it up at 2-2.
And UCF hasn't been able to respond to those off speeds by Tyler Davis. She's just so good about placing it. Has to make those blockers think about it, and they're not quite sure if their defense is going to be able to make the play because it's fallen a few times. So really, really good off-speed attacking by Davis.
Ostru gets the deflection and the point for the Owls. And how pivotal are you going to see in this fifth? I got to believe you're going to see a lot of Ostru for Temple and a lot of Harvey and Bright for UCF. You got to go to your best players.
Yeah, and that's actually a really good block. Both hands were together. It just hit off the wrong part of Westney's thumb.
Harvey blocked. Point for Temple. And the Owls taking the lead 4-2 here in the 5th.
And for Harvey, she has to get her feet to the ball. You can see she's reaching a little bit too far out in front of her. Get on top of the ball again and get that full extension. Oh, great pass by Bright.
Harvey blocked again. And Temple creating some problems with their size, and that will force a Knights timeout as Temple takes a 5-2 lead here in the 5th.
And they even tried to change the set with Harvey and tried to push it maybe to a 32, but wow, textbook blocking by Raposh. If you could have anything that your team would want to do in this 5th set, it's block one of the best attackers in the conference almost three times in a row.
It is 5-2 Temple here in the 5th, Aaron. Now what's being said on both places here right now? UCF first, and then Temple here with, again, 1st to 15 wins.
UCF's trying to think of what they can do offensively with Jayla Harvey to get her activated where she's not going to get blocked by Raposh. So do you run her on the 2, maybe have Gallert stay on the outside for one rotation, or try to get Westney the ball just to take some pressure off of Harvey? And then if you're Temple, it's all about just read where your attackers are going. Make sure that you're setting up the block on where the attacker is attacking from and channeling the ball defensively to your libero.
5-2 Temple here in the 5th. Again, Temple undefeated on the road this year, 10-0. Trying to keep that alive. UCF trying to end it. Ostru. UCF sets every hit now so critical in this match. And a nice save there. UCF Watkins as Pingle will hit it back to the Temple side. That ball is long and a point for the Knights. 5-3 Temple.
Temple wants a touch, but I don't even think there was a block in front of her on that play. So fighting for anything they can at this point.
Every hit so critical for the aspirations for these two teams. Knights serving at 3-5 in the 5th. Block, and a point for UCF.
And Jayla Harvey saying, whatever you can do, I can do better, and blocks that ball. I like this exchange between Raposh and Harvey on this right side of the court. because they are just going up against each other. That's a good matchup for both sides.
Off-speed serve there.
Yeah.
And a block. Shayla Harvey was there. And the Knights coming back with 3 points to tie it up at 5.
And I've never seen a short serve executed as well as Rajai in that play. She forced the ball to stay nice and tight to that right side and allowed Westney and Harvey to get to that pin and block that ball with some heat.
And that's forced Temple to call a timeout here, Aaron. So UCF, what have they done here to get back in this 5th set?
The same thing that Temple did to come out with the lead, blocking the ball. I mean, both teams are just being super aggressive on the defense at the net by blocking those balls.
It's just reminiscent of the match in Philadelphia. That was a match that UCF won 15-13 in the 5th. And here we are about a month later here in Orlando, and it's 5-all in the 5th. The very best here in American Conference Volleyball with a lot on the line. UCF looking for their 22nd win. They will host Connecticut on Sunday. And then they got to play at Tulane and Houston to finish the regular season. And for Temple, they've got a match trying to win this. Remember, they will finish the regular season hosting SMU, the regular season leaders right now. A lot of volleyball for both of these teams, but right now the major focus here is in the 5th. And it's 5-all, and a serve into the net.
And that's one of those errors that you can't make, the controllable errors in this set. That's the first one for UCF.
So Temple with a 6-5 lead. Good serve there. UCF, though, does a nice job to get the ball back to the Temple side. Ostchu. Oh, what a finish.
And Ostchu is angry about that no call, maybe on a lift or a weird spinning ball that was saved by Rajai. But when you make somebody that swings that heavy a little bit upset, she makes you know it, that's for sure.
And a big point and respond for the Knights. Sable, the freshman.
And another freshman that's leading the pack for this UCF team. She's been so good on the right side, blocking and attacking, especially when this UCF team needs to get bailed out of a situation.
7-6 Temple. Oh, nice answer. And no secret where Temple's going when they need a point. And they take an 8-6 lead here as they'll change sides.
And again, right through the seam, so Westney not getting to that pin, closing the block against her. Where we saw UCF win was when they were treating Aram Ostchu with the respect that she deserved by bailing out with that block and going right to her. So I think UCF should go back to that exact same game plan where they go ahead and just bail out and let everybody else get kills against you, but slow down Ostchu.
So they change sides. Temple to serve 8-6 here in the 5th. Good deep serve.
Oh, great set.
Sable denied there. UCF resets. And that ball is hit long. Or no, they're going to say deflected.
Ostchu is in the net. Yep, Ostchu is in the net on the block. I saw it from here.
Good catch there, Aaron. And the linesman saw it. Big. Woo, instead of 9-6 Temple, it's 8-7. Here's a replay.
See that pressing of the elbow.
Yeah.
She tries to play it off. We saw it.
So it is 8-7 Temple.
Oh, great dig by Jordan.
Pingle there. Oh, but a nice touch there by the Owls. They catch UCF off position defensively and take a 9-7 lead.
And again, when you hit the ball as hard as she does, you create situations like this that the ball comes over. Even though it's a great dig by Pingle to get underneath it, it's so powerful. It's hard to contain it on your own side of the net.
And a serve long. So both the Knights and the Owls with an error on the serve, and it's Ostchu here for Temple.
And so they're balanced in those controllable errors in this set. And that's why it's so close. Both teams have been playing pretty efficient volleyball, and the defense and blocking on both sides of the net have really been the only thing that's forcing errors on either side.
Watkins serving at 8-9 for UCF. Davis denied, and a point for the Knights. Gallert was there, And we're tied at 9.
And Davis wanted that off-speed shot, but look how she drops her elbow. She doesn't keep it as high. It changes the height of how she contacts the ball. And where she was so good is keeping that elbow nice and high to get over that block on those plays, but dropped that elbow because she thought about it before she made contact with the ball.
9-all, Watkins to serve. Davis.
Good slow down.
Watkins, they go quick. Temple trying to save it, and they do, and they get the point. They turn nothing into something there, and they take a 10-9 lead. Man, every point so critical. Both teams leaving it on the court. And a great serve that's going to give the Owls a 2-point lead. Deep serve there, giving UCF problems. Big serve there for the Owls. As Mia Hirakuji, the sophomore, gives Temple a 2-point lead, and now UCF will call their final timeout here of the 5th set, down 11-9.
And that was the second of those uncontrollable errors. You can't give up a service ace in this 5th set at all. You have to try to channel that ball back to the middle of the court, even if it isn't, even if it isn't a 3-pass.
So it's 11-9, Temple with the lead here in the 5th set. And again, winner of this game will be in 3rd place in the American Conference. For Temple, they're trying to keep the regular season title hopes alive within striking distance, as they will end the regular season on the 23rd of November when they host SMU, a match that will be airing here on the American Digital Network. They're 2 back of SMU in the loss column. UCF 3 back of SMU in the loss column. A UCF win here would put them in 3rd place, and they would have the tiebreaker over Temple by winning both matches. That's what's at stake here in the 5th set. Temple up 11-9. Both teams with postseason aspirations, and a serve in the net. And I talked about it, Aaron. Both teams know what's at stake and the pressure, and that's sometimes where those serves maybe come in a little short. And we've seen it on both sides. So now it's 11-10. Bright with the serve for UCF. Oh, what a point there for the Owls. Genovic giving Temple the 12-10 lead.
And watch this Temple team attack that left side of the UCF side. They've only been able to slow down a few blocks at the net, only when it's closed with a double block. So they're really susceptible to those one-on-one blocks on the left side.
Gallard. Taylor Gallard, the senior, with the finish there. Knights down 1.
And shows line and cuts cross court at the last second.
12-11 Temple here in the 5th. So miscommunication there by Temple. 2 players there. Yep. Gallard can't fit block there, and Temple back up 2.
And able to respond very, very well to just players crashing into each other. Huge block by Overton, pressing that right hand in. Wasn't going to make the mistake of letting that cross-court shot go.
Now the serve. Watkins to Jayla Harvey. Nice dig there by Mia. Ostru blocked, and a point for the Knights.
And blocking has been the difference maker for both sides in this 5th set. Both teams are blocking at such a high level right now. They're not just getting soft touches. They're pressing over the net because they don't want their defense to have to deal with it. They are making a statement with those blocks.
Serve at 12-13. Then a block, and it goes out. And now two match points for Temple here. 14-12 here in the 5th.
But UCF receives the serve, so they're in the better situation to get the first ball kill. They're in the situation to get the first ball kill, not the better one.
Overton to serve. Knights set up Jayla Harvey and gets the point, and it's 14-13.
So you have your best blockers in the front row for UCF. You have Westney and Sable blocking the right side. You have Ostu in the front row. Is there any secret as to who's going to get the ball from Temple? You also have Raposh in the front row too.
Now, Coach Bakir calls timeout. Very interesting. Do you think that Coach there used that timeout to make Jayla think about that serve a little bit?
I think he's more thinking about what he wants to do on offense to get that first ball kill in response. So you do have Ostu in the front row, and you have Raposh. So you have those two pin players to utilize. But Simmons, you never know. She might be able to sneak in. So what are they going to do? Maybe run a wave 2 and have Raposh come in and keep Ostu on the outside, or keep Ostu on the 32 and then stack the 1 and the 5 on the right side. So there's some plays that they can run, and this is where it's tough. This is where it's a chess game between coaches. What is your opponent going to do? What's the defense going to do to respond to it?
14-13 Temple here in the 5th set. Amazing match. Really a shame that somebody's got to lose.
I
this
know,
match.
right? I want it to keep going. Can we play 10? Let's play 10. Best of 10.
I'm good. It's a beautiful night here. Everybody's having a good time.
Everybody's having a good time, even with a little delay. Everybody's still hanging out, having fun. Cheerleaders are getting everybody involved, which you love.
An amazing match showcasing the very best here in the American Conference. And now the Knights with a serve coming from the senior, Jayla Harvey, playing her final weekend here at the venue. Trying to extend this match. All tied 2 sets apiece. Temple up 14-13. And the serve deep. They set up Ostu. And that ball is in. And the Temple Owls come back on the road and stay undefeated as they defeat the UCF Knights 15-13 in the 5th set in an incredible match. The Owls won the first set 25-22. UCF won the 3rd and the 4th set, and then Temple gets the 5th set. An incredible match. And so these two teams played back on October the 16th in Philadelphia. UCF won that 5th set 15-13, and now here tonight, Aaron, in Orlando, UCF, unfortunately, on the other side of it, Temple returns the favor. They win the 5th set 15-13.
And Temple really just displays how definitive they are on the road by just winning definitively on the road in 5 by the same score that UCF took at their home gym. I mean, you can't ask for better volleyball so late in this season. So you're just super excited to see it.
An amazing, amazing match. Temple victorious, 15-13. They remain undefeated on the road, 11-0. We're going to go to a quick break, and we're going to be joined by the winning coach from Temple when we return. You're watching American Conference Volleyball here on the American Digital Network.
Access to traditional prosthetics for kids is challenging. At Luminous, my goal is really to give them a chance to chase their dreams and to instill confidence so that they can go after whatever they want.
De ver o sonho meu, do meu filho, sendo realizado. Isso não tem preço.
The labs at UCF were so instrumental. I couldn't be in a better place. This is where I call my home.
What makes a Temple Owl? Meet Stella. She's wise, fierce, and she's not alone. Temple University, where owls call home. We are the cherry and white. The city is our classroom, and we lead the rush hour, making our mark on every field around the world. A world without Temple, well, that's like the sky without the North Star. Temple, never stopping.
We are American. The conference of opportunity.
All right, Coach.
The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
Welcome back here on the American Digital Network. Here, what a match. The Temple Owls victorious 15-13. I'm Eric Lopez alongside Aaron Campbell and a happy coach from the Temple Owls, Coach Bakir. Coach, What a match. You two teams, you go back and forth. It always seems to come down to the last point and every point up a contestant. Amazing match. Congratulations.
Thank you. You're absolutely right. I think Todd and his coaching staff always do a tremendous job preparing his team to play us. And every time we play UCF, we know it's going to be a battle. UCF played a tremendous match today again, and I think this was a great display of some good volleyball for everybody who came out tonight.
And Coach, your team is just so unrattled. Like in any situation, they're down in those 2 sets that they lost, but they never showed any sign of weakness on their face or anything like that. And what do you do to kind of help your players control the roller coaster of the match?
Yeah, I think the game of volleyball is really about and we talk about it a lot, throughout our season. And we work on a lot of the things we do on the court, obviously, in the match. We do that in practices. And then when we kind of go back to, hey, trust your skill set. You know how to handle these situations. We put you through this over and over. Just trust yourself.
You were down 2-1, but your players hung in there, and you never were fazed by it. You now remain undefeated on the road. It's got a lot of pride and proud of your girls for that.
Yeah, I think this was a great performance by UCF, but also an unbelievable performance by my team. I think I'm really proud today the way they performed. I think we showed a lot of heart, determination. And I feel like every match in the American is a big match, and it's a battle. And we certainly had to earn it today, but we were very happy about it.
Last thing, of course, before we get you out of here, you stay now in the race for the regular season title. You've got SMU coming on November 23rd at home, a match that'll be here on the American Digital Network. I know that's the furthest thing from your mind because you've got another match before that.
Absolutely.
But it's huge here down the stretch. You still got to play for championships and postseason. All your goals are still in sight.
Yeah, and of course, we're very happy about the situation that we're still in the race. But you're absolutely right. SMU is absolutely not on our mind at this point. We got a really tough match coming up on Sunday against a really tough South Florida team.
Well, Coach, congratulations on winning. Enjoy this one, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Coach Bakir, of course, the Temple Owls victorious over the UCF Knights here tonight, 15-13. Thanks to Drew and the great crew here at the American Digital Network for providing all the footage you have seen here tonight. Thanks to Aaron Campbell, my partner, here for the great job. I'm Eric Lopez. We hope you've enjoyed the coverage of the American Conference Volleyball here in the American Digital Network. Temple, victorious, remains undefeated on the road. And the Temple Owls. Thank you, man. Hey, hope that everything went well there, smooth. That was fun. Thanks, Drew. I'll see you in about 2 months here for Women's Hoops. All right, guys. Thanks, everybody over there in the truck as well. Everybody over there, cut your camera. Great job, guys.